Lately my thoughts got me distant, darker days filling up darker minds. Stuck in this room that keeps spinning, wondering how you been, where you hide. Late night drinking, wishful thinking, what if you were here? Morning waking, heart still aching, something about the way you make me feel. I don't wanna mess up your night, I don't wanna put up a fight, I don't wanna trouble you, babe, but I gotta say, I don't wanna waste no more time trying to shake the feelings inside. Finally got made up my mind, can't go one more day without you. No. Lately there's something that's missing. Empty bed doesn't feel empty hearts. Typical me reminiscing. A memory doesn't heal open scars. Late night drinking, wishful thinking, what if you were here? Morning waking, heart still aching, something about the way you make me feel. I don't wanna mess up your night, I don't wanna put up a fight, I don't wanna trouble you, babe, but I got to say, I don't wanna waste no more time trying to shake the feelings inside. Finally got made up my mind, can't go one more day without you. Can't go one more day without you. No, can't go one more day. No, I can't. Day without
Good morning, everybody. How are you? Hope you're doing well. Just a couple minutes after 7 a.m. On today's show, I want to talk about many things, but I want to hip you to game a little bit and put some on your radar screen that you may or may not be aware of. There's a brand new video game called True or Die Chiraq that allows gamers to become Chicago gang members. And I want to get your thoughts about how games, in your opinion, how games of this nature impact the culture, impact our families, impact impressionable minds. Among other things this morning. It's a Friday, so typically I do sort of a humans worse than COVID. And of course, I've got 3 humans worse than COVID this morning as well. So please take a second. We'll get the show started here in about 90 seconds. But please take a second to like and in particular share today's show. Plus, I'm going to hip you to what you can expect to some other CDM podcasts over the weekend. All right, don't go anywhere. This is the last honest place in America, the Nathan Ivey Show, where nothing is funnier than the truth. Hey, Nakia, thank you so much. Appreciate you. Where nothing is funnier than the truth. Men are allowed, in fact, scratch that. I expect you to act like a man on this show. And of course, lames get shot down. Lames get their plane shot down like John McCain. The wise words of Jay Electronica. We'll get started in about 2 minutes. Please share. Did I ask you? Share it. Again, this is a free show. I don't charge anybody for admission to this show. It's completely free to you. All I ask is that you share it on Facebook or wherever. All right, we'll get started in about 2 minutes. Don't go anywhere.
NathanIvey.com.
Mr. Ivy, know the show must go on. As far as Cincinnati, man, I put on. Tunes made another flame beat for me to cook on. Raised arms, close fists, yeah, too strong. Team AI, chop it up at the chop shop. Top notch with the king flow, the hot shot. Cop squats in, listen to the real. Jumping like hopscotch, nobody harder than, oh, no, think not. Not only citywide, but nationwide. Superlatives, keep it locked like them Haitian guys. Put the truth in the airways, we talk about it. Brand new like the 10th place, let's be about it. Who got the info by the AM? Jono be the rapper, got them jamming when they play him. Staying in my lane, they ain't gotta okay him. Who the host with the scoop? Yeah, they gon' say him. Ivy, so superlative like a bag of Grippos. Show you where the bricks at, Cincinnati Reds at. One time where my people at. Team NI where my people at. It's the 513, yeah, you know the flow. What's the word, Nate? Let them know the show. One time where my people at. Team NI where my people at.
Good morning, where my people at? Where are you? How are you? Hope you're doing well. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm gonna switch this up, man, but I purposely stay with these slides here because I just want to make sure that we drill down on some of these lessons. Number one, it's hard to beat a person, man or woman, who never gives up. And I never give up. I love that one quality about me. I love a lot of qualities about me, but that in particular, I love that. Never give up. Stay true to your dreams, family. Happiness is not something ready-made. It comes from your own actions. If you're not already happy with yourself, no man or woman, no penis nor vagina can ever make you happy. The money won't make you happy. The title won't make you happy. Nothing will make you happy if you don't have happiness inside of yourself. And what I found is happiness is a choice. It's the way you choose to look at the world. If you want to focus on the negative and everything you don't have and the people that's not in your life anymore, then you ain't going to be happy. You know what I'm saying? Simple as that. Happiness is not ready-made. Some people think that when you get that job, that's going to make you happy. No, you just got more responsibility. Some people think when you get a big bag of cash, it's going to make you happy. No, it might make you more financially secure, but happiness is something completely different. Some people think, and some dudes that think that when they finally get the chance to sleep with that girl, that's going to make you happy. Well, temporarily, you're going to get a high out of it. You're going to feel like the man for a minute or two, and then it's back to who you regularly are. Same thing. There's some women out there that think that when they get with that dude, that's going to make them happy. And maybe you'll get a high for a little while and temporarily, but after that, you're going to get back to who you are. As Jay-Z said, the great Jay-Z, no matter where you go, you are who you are, fam. You know what I'm saying? So happiness is not a destination. It's not a destination. It's not that. It's not a destination. Happiness is the journey. It's the journey. That's what happiness is. Good morning to you. Good morning. If people are doubting how far you can go, you're going to have a lot of doubters when you try to do anything. Like if you ain't really trying to do anything and you're just doing regular whatever, and you staying in the box, But when you step outside the box and start to do things and maybe challenge yourself and grow, you're going to have a lot of doubters. Some of them might be well-intentioned, might be your mama in them, might be your family, might be your best friends in them. They just don't understand. They just don't understand. So if people are doubting how far you can go so far you can't hear them no more. Drown them out with distance. Drown them out. And the same boiling water that softens the potato, my friends, hardens the egg. It's what you're made of, not the circumstances. It's what you do with the circumstances, not the circumstances themselves. Pain is a great motivator. Pain is an excellent motivator if you are motivated about it. Good morning to you. Welcome back. It's Nathan Ivy with you, 513-873-7134 if you want to share your thoughts. And there's a lot to talk about this morning, man. Wow. What an interesting week we've just had. What a very interesting week. I mean, we kicked off the week talking about this brother up in Dayton who was pulled out, paraplegic, which means that people were intermingling that word. Quadriplegic means, quad means four, means that you've lost the ability to use all four of your appendages, your arms and your legs. He is a paraplegic. He has full use of his arms, but not his legs. And he was snatched out of his car by Dayton police. And to that point, I want to hip you to the fact that coming up on Sunday at 10 a.m., Edna Howe is scheduled to speak with the NAACP president in Dayton. His name is Dr. Derek L. Forward. And that's the brother you can see right there. He did a press conference, CNN. The NAACP up in Dayton is working with this brother, trying to get him some justice and deal with the situation up there. And he's scheduled to be Edna House guest on Sunday morning. Don't miss it. It's appointment television. You can watch it on Facebook. You can connect with Edna right now on Facebook as well. Straight Talk Live with Edna Howe, and check it out. Somebody it happened 2 weeks in a row. Somebody was like, wait a minute, is that Edna Howe? Yes, that's the real Edna Howe. Yes. We ain't playing no games. And we're just getting started. Oh my God, we got some great things planned for you as we get into later in the year, into next year as well. So keep your eyes on what we're doing here. I'll say it again. It's hard to be the person who never gives up. And I'm hard-headed like that. I never give up. I don't give a damn. Care what nobody says. Can't nobody tell me shit about the path that I'm on. I already know that God is ordering our steps. I have no doubt about it whatsoever. And then many of you are going to be here for all the ride. Just keep watching. Listen, 513-873-7134. If you would like to share your thoughts this morning, you can see my number on the screen right there. It's a free call anywhere in the country, and in some places across the world. I'll pay for it. We got you. I'll pay for it. You know what I'm saying? Just let your fingers step in the name of digital talk radio this morning. You thought I was going to say step in the name of love. I told you, real man don't F with R. Kelly. Any grown man talking about some damn R. Kelly, I'm going to listen to R. Kelly, is a weak-ass black man, period. What the hell is this, man? Come on, bro. We're going to have to block you. Somebody on here on the stream with some dumbish. I don't understand it. Good morning to you. But let me get back to this. Are you hip to this? You heard about this before? It's called True or Die. I'm going to play you a video clip from the producers in just a couple of minutes. I'm going to play you a clip from the producers. Now, everybody knows, and maybe you don't know, I'm going to tell you again because I ain't ashamed of it. I love it. But I'm a gamer. I don't game anywhere near as much. I haven't turned the game on in months and months and months and months. But, I spent a lot of time. That was a hobby for me. And I got a lot of friends who are sort of in that gaming world. If you're on Xbox, you can find me there. Just send me a direct message. I'll give you my gamer tag and we can connect. I'm not on a whole lot. My favorite games were, the basketball and the Halo and some Soul Calibur and stuff like that. But I'm aware of gaming. I think it's fair to call myself a gamer. I'm very well aware of it. And I loved it because gaming technology was way ahead of everything else. And so there's things that people are dealing with now and doing now that we was dealing 10 years ago. I was dealing with this 10 years ago. In terms of social media, interacting people and using the internet, light years ahead of all of that. I had a lot of time. And I used it for a long time to stay connected with my brothers and sisters because I got 2 brothers and sisters and 3 of them are gamers. My one sister, Kim, she on some, that's not her cup of tea. But we had a lot of fun with it. It's a lot of fun. You're at home, you get your headset on, you got your brothers and sisters there, you're having fun together. That can be a lot of fun. And so I'm well aware of a game called GTA or Grand Theft Auto. Anybody heard that game before? Grand Theft Auto. So basically in Grand Theft Auto, and it's been out for a long time now, and it's hugely successful. It's one of the most successful video game franchises of all time, Craig, of all time. Very successful. And basically you play a criminal. And you rise in the criminal underworld to become a boss by doing different jobs. You might have to rob somebody. You might have to carjack somebody. You might have to get into a shootout or a chase with the police. All kinds of different jobs. And in a lot of ways, this stuff was mirroring what you see in some of these gangster films. Hugely popular. My brothers and sisters played it. I never got into it. And, it wasn't because of commentary or anything. It just wasn't my cup of tea. I didn't want to run around doing that. But a lot of people played it. A lot of younger people played those games. And there's a big debate about how much of an impact those kind of games have on impressionable minds. We'll put it that way. I'll put that on the table. I want to get your thoughts about it. So, pardon me. This new game is called True or Die Chiraq. And I haven't played it, obviously, but from what I'm seeing, it's sort of in that same mode. It's kind of in that same mode of a Grand Theft Autos, which if you're looking at it from a purely sort of like want to make some money type of perspective, hey, it's smart as hell. It's smart as hell because, like I told you, GTA has already set GTA has already set the table, and that's Grand Theft Auto. It's already set the table, and these kind of games are really, 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 really popular. They're really, 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 really popular. I see Galen backstage, but I thought we was talking at 9, Galen. Thought we was talking at 9. Okay, you thought you just checking out? Okay, cool, yeah. Yeah, we got Galen G. Gordon. He'll be on the show. He is running for city council. He'll be on the show today at 9 a.m. So I just see him backstage. He must have been just making sure everything works. I like that. I'm an early dude myself. I like to be early. If I got to be there at 8, I want to be there at least quarter till, if not earlier than that. So that's coming up at 9 a.m. this morning. But I want to play this promo clip for you. I want you to check this out and tell me what you think. And if I have to run it a couple more times during the show, then I'm willing to do that. But this is a promo clip for, and again, there is some extreme language. I'm going to give you a heads up on this. There is some extreme language. I'll say it again. There is some extreme language. You got to know it's early. People getting ready for taking their children to school and things like that. My children go to school. I understand it. I'm very sensitive to that. But we are grown folks, and this is an adult show, even though it's in the morning, and I'm sensitive to that. So I want to give you a couple minutes to maybe turn it down. I don't want you to turn away because I can't afford you. I need every listener, every play, every download. But you got to do what you got to do. I totally understand and respect it. Maybe you can circle back a little later and watch it on the replay, so to speak. Okay, but I want to play this for you. This is the promo for a brand new video game called True or Die Chiraq. Chiraq is a nickname for Chicago. I'm not sure who did this, but they took two names of two different places, Chicago and Iraq, and made it Chiraq. And I kind of do know the history of it, actually, which I can share with you if you need that. All right. But okay, you ready for this? Again, there is some extreme language in this, but I want you to look at the promo, and then I want you to give me your thoughts about it. I got a few questions for you. You ready? You ready? All right, rotate.
Welcome to Chiraq. True or die, where you or die if you're not moving correctly. Everybody know how dangerous it get out here. Keep you a gun on you at all times, and of course those cost. But what's your life worth? Money. You'll need money to buy clothes, cars, cribs, guns, food, and more. You know, typical shit. But how you gonna get your money is the question. You can sell drugs, guns, sex, do fraud, or you can just be out here robbing motherfuckers. Oh, and if the street life ain't your forte, you could be out here giving rides, working stores, or become an officer. Speaking of 12, if you get caught doing crimes, you doing time. You was sent in prison for some time, and the hustle and the crimes don't stop in that either. It's folks breaking their people out some more shit. Oh, and a little suggestion, it's homes and traps all over Chiraq. Get you one to store your belongings, because if you die, you lose what you got on you. And get you a crew. It's safe to move in packs, but the bigger the crowd, the bigger the rap risk. There's no rules in Chiraq. You won't get banned for anything. Just stay true or die.
So stay true or die. Stay true or die. That's the promo for a brand new video game called True or Die Chiraq. Couple questions for people that have young people in their lives, whether it be your children or your nieces and nephews or your grandbabies. Would you allow them to play this game? What about teenagers? Would you purchase this game for them for Christmas, or maybe it's a birthday coming up, or maybe they got all A's or something like that? What do you think about that? Like, how much of an impact do you think that these kind of games really have on people? Is it just a video game? It's harmless, Nate. It's just a game. Damn it. We play Pac-Man. What's the difference? We used to play Space Invaders. What's the difference? I played NBA Jams. What's the difference, right? It's just a video game. It's not real life. I'd like to get your thoughts about that. And I'll probably roll it again as people are coming back in, because people come in the show at different times during the morning. So I want you to think about that. I want you to think about that and tell me what you think. Again, at 513-873-7134. But I want to remind you that early voting is taking place right now. You can early vote in Hamilton County right now, all the way up until November the 1st. So if you are a registered voter and you're probably still making your decision, I want to remind you, you can early vote over at 4700 Smith Road. That's in Norwood, Ohio. And if you're a registered voter and you have any questions or whatever, you can give them a call at 513 632-7000. Now, before we get back to the primary conversation, there's a few candidates that would like your attention. Give them your ear. Check this out.
Good morning, Choppers. I'm Scotty Johnson, candidate for Cincinnati City Council. Unfortunately, injustice remains in the city of Cincinnati. A remedy for injustice is courageous, bold leadership. I plan on bringing that type of leadership to City Hall. It's time to stop talking about it and to start doing something about it. Disparities have been in Cincinnati far too long. I'm the candidate to address those disparities. Vote Scotty Johnson for Cincinnati City Council.
Paid for by friends of Scotty Johnson.
I'm former Mayor Dwight Tillery asking you to vote for my friend, Michelle Dillingham, who is a Democrat running for Cincinnati City Council. The black population in our city has declined, pushing black homeowners out while speculators purchase their houses for pennies on the dollar. Black people are being foreclosed on because of rigged housing and economic systems.
Michelle Dillingham will fight for you. This is Victoria Strong. You know me, Sister V. City Council prefers investing in a soccer stadium and gentrifying our historic neighborhoods. Malcolm X said that if you don't own land, you're nothing but a squatter.
Come on, Michelle, talk to the people.
City Council is being sued for discriminatory tax abatement programs that unfairly enrich wealthy white neighborhoods. I know because I've been fighting for reform for years. Isn't it time to elect a candidate who will stand up for the people over special interests? Vote for me, Michelle Dillingham, Democrat for Cincinnati City Council.
Paid for by Dillingham for Council Committee.
Wish I could vote.
Why?
I would vote for Elizabeth Tai for judge. She has 18 years of experience as a prosecutor and defense attorney. Elizabeth Tai is strong, compassionate, and will be fair. She's someone I look up to.
Elizabeth Tai is a good choice. Vote for Elizabeth Tai for judge.
TYE, that's the judge for me.
I'm attorney Elizabeth Tai, and I'm asking for your vote for municipal court judge on November 2nd.
Paid for by the committee to elect Democrat Elizabeth Tai for municipal judge.
All right, good morning to you real quick. Don't forget, early voting is taking place right now. You can early vote here in Hamilton County up till November 1st. And again, of course, November 2nd is actually election day. Good morning, good morning, good morning. And if you haven't already done so or you missed any of those forums, make sure you circle back around and check out those NAACP Prince Hall Masons virtual town hall forums, because it'll give you some insight. The worst thing in the world, and we've all done it, I admit, you go in there and you're like, who the hell is this? You see names there, you don't even know who the hell these people are. That's the worst feeling in the world. You feel real, I'm going to be honest, you feel real uneducated. You feel real uneducated, and people be fronting like, well, you know, I'm just going to go with the names I know. That's not the way we want to do things. We got a tremendous opportunity to transform our local city government, and that means we need to be qualified and educated and have some insights. And it takes more than billboards. You know, I see all these billboards. I don't know who some of these folks is. I mean, I know because I've been doing the NAACP forums, and I'm Nathan Ivey. So, of course, I know. I do this so you don't have to do this. But I can imagine a lot of people are riding through town. You see all these smiling faces on billboards. You don't know who the F these people are. You don't have no idea. Everybody look good. Everybody sounding like they going to do something for Cincinnati, but you don't really know. You don't really know. You have no idea. Good morning to you. Good morning, good morning, good morning. All right, let me throw the cover up art again. So this is today's cover art. You can check it out. New video game, True or Die Chiraq, allows gamers to become Chicago game members. And I'd like to know, do you think these kind of games are bad for the culture? Are they bad for impressionable minds? Or is it just a video game and it's really about the parents? And then you got parents that want to blame everything because they're not doing their own job. What do you think? Now, from a marketing standpoint and just trying to make some money, I think it's a fantabulous idea. It's a fantabulous idea because GTA, Grand Theft Auto, is one of the most successful gaming franchises of all time. Why do you think that these type of games are so attractive? That's one question I want you to think about. This is a room full of smart, intelligent people. I'd like to get your thoughts about it. Why do you think that these types of games are so attractive to people? Like, why do they get so much traction? Why is Grand Theft Auto so popular among people? And again, maybe it's of a certain demographic. I can see this game taking off, quite honestly. It depends on the quality of the game, because gamers, no matter what the package is, or it's got to be a good game. It's got to play right. You know what I'm saying? You can't have a whole lot of bugs in it, and it's got there's certain things as a gamer that you needed to do, right? But I want to get your thoughts about it again at 513-873-7134. Give me your honest thoughts about this. This is just one thing I want to talk about to kick us off this morning, but I want to get your honest thoughts about it. Let me jump inside the chop shop. Say what's up to the choppers. Ray writes, good risings all. Good morning to you. TGIF, Nate and the choppers. That's from Sharp. Good morning, Sharp. Fox writes, rise and shine, young stars. Good morning to you, Sharp. Good morning to you. Absolutely. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Ashley writes, good morning, Nathan and the choppers. Happy Friday. We made it. Yes, we did. It's a beautiful Friday, too. What's the weather looking like? I haven't checked. Oh, man, it's going to be beautiful. Yesterday was absolutely gorgeous. Very gorgeous. Brandy writes, good morning. Happy Friday. Same to you, Brandy. Thank you for being here. Anthony writes, morning, Trump. Good morning to you, Anthony. Pamela's in the house. She writes, good morning, Nate and the choppers. Good morning to you. Andrea writes, morning, Nate and friends. Good morning to you. TGIF, good morning to you. It's my favorite part of the show. Greeting all the choppers. Dale writes, good morning, Nate and choppers. Synovia is in the house. She writes, good morning, Mr. Nathan. Synovia Biden. Or Benden. Kelly writes, good morning. Sean's in the house. He writes, good morning, King Nate and the Mighty Choppers. What's up with you, Sean, man? You've been getting it in every day, bro. Been getting it in. Getting it in. Every single day. My body is changing right before you. I love it. If you can control yourself, you have more control over the world around you. Or should I say, better said, that if you can't control yourself, how you think you're going to make some moves out here? Strong body, strong mind, bro. I know that you feel the same way. What's up, King? King. What up, King? Good to see you, man. Hit me with that subscription, King. He writes, I like that. This game is very bad. You think it's a bad game, huh? You think it's a bad game. What's so bad about it? I mean, it's just a video game. Now, do you think this video game, let's say you got some impressionable minds, and I put it that way because I just don't want to say younger people, because you got some people that's not so young that are very impressionable, okay? So let's say you got some impressionable minds and they're playing a video game. You think a game like this can make somebody do something that's not already inside of them? So if you got somebody that's already, they're not criminally minded. They're playing a game like, oh, shit, I'm stacking chips. What? I'm jacking fools. We murdering fools. We selling dope. Shit, man, got a big old whip. I need to do this in real life. I'm not really sure it works that way. I don't really think it works that way. Or does it? Or does it? Or does it? Let's take another look at it real quick. Let me see if I can play this for you.
Welcome to Chiraq. True or die, where you or die if you're not moving correctly. Everybody know how dangerous it get out here. Keep you a gun on you at all times. And of course those cost. But what's your life worth? Money. You'll need money to buy clothes, cars, cribs, guns, food, and more.
Clothes, cars. I saw a video clip, man, of Killer Mike. He was at some kind of conference. I don't know what the conference was. He is like, the reason why young people, he said young people, the reason why young people was motivated to that street life is because they're trying to get their money up. They're trying to get the cars. They're trying to get the girls. I mean, girls like dudes with money. Women like men that's got money. When you pull up to the spot or the block or the restaurant or the club or wherever, and you getting out of a really nice car, women will think that you're more attractive, no matter what you look like. You know what I'm saying? When you got the latest designer whatever on and some brand new J's that match, and oh boy, don't have any diamonds, and you all dripped out, looking fantastic, looking like the Migos, women respond to that. Women respond to that. When you working at the bookstore, let's say you're an honest dude, you got big honest dreams, and you bagging groceries at Kroger. For some women and girls, You just don't compare to the dude that's riding up with the latest fashions on, with the brand new this, brand new that, no matter how he got it. As we know, my friends, fellow choppers, in America, the means justify the ends in America. The means justify the ends. You know, no matter what you got to do to show up Big Willie style, you the man, you got the big house, you got the cars, you got this. That's all people care about. They don't care about how you got it. Girls and women don't care about how you got it. Most of them don't. There's exceptions to every rule, but most of them don't care. Ladies, stop playing with yourself, and even older women. There's a big difference. But the way you gonna judge a man, why you got that whistle around your head? I love that shirt though, bro. Good morning to you. You gonna say good morning? Good morning. You gotta talk to the mic, love.
Good morning.
You gonna tell the people about what happened yesterday in school? No. Come here. Come over here. Yeah, tell them what happened yesterday in school. You had a little relapse, huh? A little setback, huh? Tell them. What you mean? Yes, you did. You ain't get no smiley face.
I don't want to tell them.
Why not? You doing it?
I don't want to.
Okay. Why do you have that whistle around your neck?
Because I want to.
Because you want to. I like that shirt. Show the people your shirt. Yeah. They got that Black Panther on there. I love it.
And I have a basketball.
Oh, he playing basketball? Let me see. I don't see no basketball hoop. I don't see. You look good, though. You look good. I love you. Have a good day, okay?
Only if it had like a black on it.
And just because you don't get a smiley face don't mean you had a bad day. It just means that you didn't get a smiley face. Have a great day, little boy. That's my son right there. This is, if you watch it for the first time, this is a Black family show. So we give you the realest flows that you're going to hear anywhere. We're going to get as deep as anybody else. And when it comes to talking about Black folks, we're going to be as real as possible when it comes to people, politics, and pleasure. But this is a family. I'm doing this from my home studio as of right now. So my son, daughter, the wife, you might stop in and say hello. And what's wrong with that? I can't think of anything wrong with it. It's all good to me. The most Ryan of Royals writes, Mesa, Arizona, Grand Risings. What's up? What's up, son? They love you. Oh, I love that. Got to get that hair together. Where's the brush at? My brush is somewhere.
I think my hair is getting smaller.
No, it's not getting smaller. Here it is. Here you go. Get to see your mother.
I want it to grow up.
You want your hair to grow out?
Yeah. Then I can get a ponytail.
Yeah, when he was little, he had a little tail. I loved it. Well, you gonna talk? Come on the camera, bro. Say hello.
I want my ponytail again.
Okay. So what's the plan for your behavior today?
Not being good.
What?
Not being bad.
You weren't bad. I mean, you weren't bad. It's just that, you had a moment and the teachers had to let you know. Okay? You're not doing your hair right, so let your mother do that. Okay. Are you done? Are you done yet? Just let me know when you get done. Just let me know when you get done. Boy, you was funny. All right, give me that. Have a good day. And give that, don't do that. Give that to your mother. No. Take that with you and give this to your mother. She'll take care of you. Don't hide it. This little boy. That's my entertainment right there. I'm telling you, I got entertainment in the house. He's going to be hilarious. He's going to be hilarious as he gets older. And he might be dope on that basketball court. I'm telling you, you looking at him, you might be looking at the next LaMelo Ball. Speaking of which, shout out to LeVar Ball. I meant to give him his props this week. LeVar Ball is a effing genius. He's the Joe Jackson equivalent of the NBA. Put 3 sons in the NBA. 2 of his boys was top 10 picks. One of them was like he's going to be a dog. LaMelo Ball is a potential problem. It's one of my favorite young ballers in the NBA to watch, by the way, sidebar. Brandy writes, greetings, happy Friday. Happy Friday, sis. Happy Friday. Akeem writes, morning. What I'm going to have to see is all them staff members at the Texas Juvenile Detention Center prosecuted like R. Kelly. Send me a link. Aaliyah writes, good morning. Those are great sayings. Absolutely. I'm going to switch up a little bit. I've been using them for a while. They might be a little dated, but I want to drill down on those points, man. But thank you for being here. TNT Rice, good morning. Good morning to you. Akeem Rice, what's up, Nate? I see the wifey made you keep the shirt buttoned up. Really? Okay. Gladys writes, good morning, Nate and Choppers. Have a good weekend. I plan on it. It's going to be a busy weekend. It's a working weekend. TNT writes, replying to okay, she says she's asking and she's afraid to ask. Synovia writes, truth, nothing like it. I hear you on WAIF. Absolutely, she does a show on WAIF. Okay, Stop the Violence, Point Blank, period. Walk Saturday, November the 6th, 11 a.m. at the Bond Hill Recreation Center, 1501. Is it Elizabeth Ave, I think it is? Elizabeth Place. All are welcome. Student class credit given to all students that participate. Thank you so much. Okay, absolutely. Don't blow that whistle in the house. Okay, you're not my, he's my coach. Maxine writes, great grand risings. Carmelita sending you positive vibes. I saw your Facebook post, Carmelita. I hope you're doing well. I know you're dealing with some heavy shit. And just want to say, stop. We're not doing that, man. No, you're not. No, you're not. He's playing too much. Akeem writes, staff was doing the unimaginable, the juveniles. I'll put the link in the friends group. Okay, I'll check it out. Sakina's in the house. Hey, good morning to you, sis. She writes, good morning, Nathan. Hey, good to see you, Sakina. See, Pamela writes, GTA had the best music. Oh, that was an appeal, huh? Dale writes, good morning. Angela is in the house. She writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Brian writes, good morning. Tiffany writes, good morning, all. Sakina writes, it's a no for me. I'm not into video games, but this ain't for me or my girls. Nope. Okay, I can respect that. Brian writes, no, sir. Angela writes, no, I wouldn't buy that for my kid. That's an adult game. Okay, yeah, there's a lot of adult gamers out there. You know what I'm saying? I am an adult gamer. I got two brothers and sisters, 2 brothers and a sister that are adult gamers. We enjoy it from time to time. I hope to get back to it. When I retire, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just work out, stack chips, play poker, and catch up with the latest video games. That's all I'm going to do when I retire. That's it. And I might start a church, become Pastor Ivy, and rake in all that cash like Creflo and them. America's insatiable appetite for violence. Why are these games so attractive to a certain type of people? GTA is one of the most biggest selling franchises of all time in terms of games. They come out with GTA Miami, then they do the retro GTA. Thank you. What's up, black woman? Hold on 1 second. My daughter's a mess. She's a complete mess. Thank you so much. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to your mama. You better watch your mouth, little girl. Okay. Oh my God. TNT writes, nah, that's for adults who don't suffer from arrested development. Synovia writes, but Pac-Man wasn't talking about taking someone out before they do. You get your monies or you'll have nothing, et cetera, et cetera. I know. I was just making some fun, having some fun with the comparison. Aaliyah writes, people spend a lot of time in video games. You may not think about it, but the more you see it, the more it becomes real to you. I think it's meant for you to work on your subconscious thoughts, though. Daryl writes, I encourage you all to vote right now. Absolutely. David writes, good morning, Nate and Choppers. Tanika writes, good morning, Nate and Choppers. Let me see. Daryl writes, Michelle Dillingham is not one of the answers for city council, JMO. Just my opinion. Okay. We're all entitled to our opinions. Jerica writes, hola, beautiful black people, and the others too. Rolando writes, what it do? What it do, Rolando? Good morning to you. Sarai writes, Grand Risings family. Synovia writes, what I need is someone who will stop the what we need to do and exactly do it. Stop the I have a dream speeches. Actually step up and mean it, period. I mean, I'm just saying. Okay. Jerome writes, TGIF, Nate and the Choppers. Jenny writes, Good morning, Nathan and the Choppers. You need the keys, don't you? Hold on 1 second, Choppers. Nakia writes, good morning, all. TGIF. Regina writes, good morning, everyone. Have a great weekend. Rolando writes, hell nah, it didn't work that way. It don't work that way. What do you mean? Sarah writes, it feeds the violent nature of one's ego. I'll be honest with you. I think if you got somebody that's got an impressionable mind and they don't have other things in their life that they can think can lead to, like, you know, a good life, then if they sitting around playing a video game all day, I can see how it might open them up to be interested in that lifestyle or to try some things that they might be on the fence about. I think that if you're solid in who you are and you got good people around you and you got hope for the future that you're going somewhere with your life, I don't think the video game is going to have that much of an impact on you. Just like I don't think that the music will have that much of an impact on you. You might play games with it inside your head, but if you got a solid foundation around you and you can feel like, okay, yeah, my life means something, I'm going somewhere, I got a reason to live, then you're not going to take that route. That's what I think. Crystal writes, good morning, Nathan and the Choppers. Good morning to you, Crystal. Good to see you. Betting Public Sports Show writes, are we serious? We glorifying gang culture with a video game? It works like this in real life. Kids think they can respawn after being shot. I think not just the glorifying of games, but I think pop culture doesn't give us a realistic viewpoint of what gunplay and being shot and being in a shootout is really like. You know, because on most TV shows and movies, people die pretty. They just kind of, they faint, and they're laying there all pretty. I think in real life, and I'm not speaking from personal experience because I don't have that personal experience, I think it's much different. Jesse writes, sex and violence always sells. Correctamundo, Jesse. Good morning to you, brother. Correctamundo. That's why I said, whoever came up with this game, they smart. From just making money standpoint, they're smart. You know, listen, that's smart. It's like building a better hamburger. You know, GTA's been successful. This ain't the first game of this nature that's come out after the success of Grand Theft Auto. But Grand Theft Auto's been so successful, it only makes sense if somebody would say, you know what, I'm going to try to do what they do.
You know, typical shit. But how you going to get your money is the question. You can sell drugs, guns, sex, do fraud, or you can just be out here robbing motherfuckers.
So you can be a pimp or you're doing human trafficking. Which is it? You can be a pimp. You said selling sex. So either you a pimp or you doing human trafficking. Are games like this bad for the culture? Should games like this just be banned because it's bad for society? Or is it the free market? Like, we talking about it, but this game might not sell at all. Nobody might pick up on it. Let me double check and see where this game is available for you, for those that might be interested. Cleopatra writes, it is bad for a culture. Reason some people don't know how to separate themselves from the game. They will try and live the game. Create positive games like how to build cars, open businesses, building homes, build wealth in a positive way. Now, we might have missed it, and I haven't spoken to this point, but let's listen, because in the promo for the game, the narrator says, look, if you're not into the street life, then you can start a store. So maybe the game is more than just, you know, being a gang member in Chiraq. Check this out.
Oh, and if the street life ain't your forte, you could be out here giving rides, working stores, or become an officer.
Okay, so you can be out here giving rides. You can do Uber. You can do Uber. You can do Lyft. You can give rides. You can do bootleg cab. You can do bootleg cab, or you can be a Chiraq gang member. You got choices. You can open your own store. You can start your little boutique. I know so many people that's got their own clothing lines. You know what I'm saying? You can start your little boutique. Or what do you say? You can give rides. You can give rides. Hold on, let me back up here. Let me back this up. You can give some rides or start a little store, or it was something else he said.
Or become an officer.
Or become an officer. So there it is. You can become an officer. So that's just clever marketing on their part, because doing that sort of insulates them from a lot of critiques. So when people say, oh, you just selling that gang culture, that death culture. No, it's a game. You can become an entrepreneur. You can even become a police officer. You can do what you want to do. Now, are you a dirty cop? You know what I'm saying? Are you like these Dayton police officers dragging paraplegics out of the car for no damn reason whatsoever? I don't know. I don't know. Nakia writes, that's a true statement. Money, money, money. That's right. Money, money, money. In America, all that religiosity and morals, all that shit, you can flush all that down the toilet. In American culture, might makes right, and the ends justify the means. That's how we know we're living in the last days of common sense. Might makes right, and the ends justify the means. As long as you live in good Big Willie style at the end of the day, nobody really cares about how you got there. Nobody really cares. As long as you don't go on Instagram and post some photographs of your private jet and your cars and your lifestyle and all that kind of shit, that's all people care about. Look at that, right? It's the truth. You can be the biggest. Look at Black Mafia family. These mofos were selling poison to the community, but they get glorified with a whole new series. They've been damn near deified in hip hop culture, right? Like, these motherfuckers selling poison. Excuse my language. Oh my God, I did it again. Excuse me. Hold on a second. Lord, forgive me for my brash delivery. Thank you. Got to do my prayers. I'm Gucci now. I can get to God. I can get to heaven now. Yeah, I mean, nobody really cares. You know what I'm saying? All these dope dealer tales, nobody really cares how much pain and how many homes they broke up or how many lives they damaged. All we care about is they had some Dookie gold chains and had some Diodoras on or some shell toes or the latest fashions. Oh, he got a fur. That's all that matters in American culture. Am I wrong about that? That's what I see. The ends justify the means, and might makes right. Simple as that. That's it. Jason says good morning. Good morning to you, Jason. Good to see you, brother. He's on YouTube. Angela writes, Nate, only superficial women do that. I like his car. He got money. Only superficial women do that, Angela. Only superficial women do that. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I think all women do that. Every last one of y'all. Every last single last one of y'all. I don't believe it. Brenda writes, happy Friday. Happy Friday to you. Jason writes, because he's chilling. I'm not sure what he's responding to. What time was this? About 7:30? Not too long ago. What was I talking about, Jason? I don't remember. Angela writes, good morning, Junior. He's just too cute. Oh, because he's chilling? You talking about my son? Okay. Tiffany writes, little man with the walk-off, like, I'm not trying to go there, Daddy. Right. Yeah. He had a little setback yesterday coming in here. But see, I try to tell him, like, you didn't have a bad day just because you didn't get a smiley face. That's in the first grade, you had a smiley face. And, you know, if only things were so simple as adults. You know what I'm saying? If only things were so simple as adults. I'm telling you, he got it good. 6-year-olds got it so good. Oh, my God. That little boy got it. So he lived with us. He lived with us. We good people. He got it good. Trust me, he got it real good. Going out with his family, whole 9 yards. Got a mom and dad that care about him. Smart, intelligent Black folks that looking after him. He got it good. And all he got to do is get a damn smiley face in school, which means don't talk when you're not supposed to talk and don't run the hallways. That's all he got to do. If only adult life was less complicated, right? The whole world would be so much better. Uh-oh, Eloise is in the house. Good morning, Eloise. I just love saying her name. Eloise. She writes, good morning. Happy Friday. Supposed to be in a good mood. Jerica was throwing hate on me yesterday. Don't think I didn't see your comments, sis. I just didn't get a chance to get to it. Jerica's like my little sister that's always trying to check me. Always. I don't need you checking me, boo. Who gonna check me, boo? Talking about something. What were we talking about yesterday? Yesterday, I let it be known about Kyrie Irving, who, by the way, should shut his damn mouth and dribble. He don't know what he's talking about. We don't want to hear what you think about the vaccinations on some dumb ish without any information. And just shut your mouth. Okay? Like LeBron did. People criticize LeBron James because he won't say nothing about the vaccine. If you ain't got nothing that's based on science and facts, keep your mouth closed and get out there and dribble, man. We want to see you dribble. Uncle Drew. Jericho, like, the problem is a black man who would use a racist phrase. I saw that, Jericho. I just didn't have a chance to deal with you. You know what I'm saying? You worry about that black man, that king in your life. That's what you worry about. You know what I'm saying?
You're not natural, baby. I see you got that perm in there. I still love.
I built the whole plant. Okay, let's stop. Akeem writes, Gone and Furious Styles, that boy. You're right about that, man. Furious Styles was that strong black father, wasn't he? He had Trey together. He had his boy together. Like I never planned on having any children. And then after we had our daughter, we thought we was done. The whole 9 yards. God had another plan, and I'm glad he did because my son is a blessing. So now all of my mother's boys, my son, myself, my 2 brothers, we all have sons. And all of our sons are named after us. I'll say it again. I ain't trying to shame nobody, but I don't understand how a man can have a son and your son ain't named after you. Your firstborn should be named after you. There's nothing more manly than a man can do. That's Junior. I'm Senior. There's nothing more manly than a man can do, period. The hell I have to look like naming myself after some damn athlete or some other body. No, that's my boy. 100%. I'm his father, 100%. And I love it. Like I say, he's going to be a great source of information, but entertainment. As he gets older, I keep telling the wife, we just going to sit back and just watch what he do and just enjoy it. And I keep saying he might be dope out there on the basketball court. He might. Daryl is hilarious. Hairbrush tutorial segment by Junior. Oh, that's hilarious, man. Y'all are too much fun, man. Janice writes, my motto, I don't want to be around anyone who is into anything illegal. I got the same motto. Sonovia writes, having what others have is what our children, youth are watching, listening, and absorbing. That's why reality shows do so well. They're showing them what they should, need to be, have. We have got to stay woke and notice our children, and the world we live in. I'm with you. Jason says, morning. Good morning to you, brother. Jericho writes, big ups to the fathers who have children in college. I mean, that's their choice. I mean, they don't want to go to college. You know, I would prefer that my children be like me. I told you before, all the way around. But they're going to be who they're going to be. And as long as they're not doing no dumbish, they got my support. Joy writes, good morning, TGIF. Good morning to you. What else?
It only takes a little bit.
Okay. Oh, okay. Dylan writes, I forgot for a second. When he scored damn near 100 points in a game of high school, I knew he was going to be a problem in NBA too. You talking about LaMelo Ball? LaMelo Ball is a special. I just love watching the brother play. He got that old school, new school vibe. LeVar Ball is the Joe Jackson, minus the violence, of the NBA. He put 3 sons in the NBA. 2 of them were lottery picks, and one of them like he's going to be the next greatest thing. And he told you he was going to do that. A lot of people couldn't stand LeVar Ball because he was talking like, you know, he was confident. That's how I looked at it. And I love what he's doing with the big baller brand. I love it. Why not? You ain't got to go to Nike, Adidas, or there's 3 big ones. It's Nike, Adidas, and somebody else. Nike, Adidas. I can't remember who the other it's the big 3 shoe manufacturers. And most of these NBA ballers, when they come out, they go get a contract with them, which is highly lucrative. And the hell seems like this light is getting more intense, which is highly lucrative and puts money in your pocket. But why can't you start your own brand? Now, I won't be buying them because I can't afford them. I can't afford $600 for some sneakers. I like to. I just put them like on the shelf and probably wouldn't even wear them. But you know, I love what the brother's doing, man. People was hating on him, saying he was sexist and he was this and the other because he said his boy was going to be better than Steph Curry. I'm going to do the same thing. My boy going to be better than Steph Curry and LeBron James. What do you think I'm supposed to say? He's not? Please. That's what a father's supposed to do. We should all be so lucky to have a father in our life that pushes that way. That's what a father's supposed to do. Shannon writes, happy Friday. Good to see you, sis. Good to see you, Shannon. Nat writes, it helps getting your sons to the NBA when they grow to be 6'7" or 6'8". Yeah, but they don't have to be. You can be shorter than that. And if you a dog, you a dog. I played against dudes that were shorter than me, and they was amazing ball players. Absolutely amazing. Okay, just got the word. Melanin Insights will be back on Sunday. So that's Sunday at 5:30 p.m. And since I just brought that up, just want to remind you, because this was a story that a lot of people followed. Edna Howe, host of Straight Talk Live, will be talking with Dr. Derek L. Forward, who is the president of the Dayton NAACP. Why is that relevant? Well, that's the brother right there on the right. And on the left, that's the brother who's a paraplegic that was dragged out of the car. And so the NAACP is very, very involved in the brother's case. And he'll be talking with Edna Howe on Sunday. You never know. You better tap in. You never know who she might have on. You might be surprised. You never know. That's Sunday at 10 a.m. All right, let's get back to your chat here. Brian writes, my son loves gaming. I just can't allow him to play a game that glorifies black men and women in these situations. Well, the thing about GTA, and that's Grand Theft Auto, and I appreciate that. You know, much respect to you. That's black conscious father right there with Brian. Got nothing but respect for that. But I think one difference that I'm picking up on, and again, I haven't played the game, so I'm not here to tell you I got all this insight. I would, just for the purposes of being able to come back and tell you what I saw. But one big difference between this and GTA, that's Grand Theft Auto, is Grand Theft Auto wasn't focused on black people in particular. You know, it was focused on a lot of different folks, a lot of different ethnicities. This game appears to be focused primarily on black culture. Like if you look at all these images right here, they're all melanated, right? You're all melanated. And it seems like at least once a week, we hear about, especially when you have holidays and things like that, the national news loves to tell us about all the shootings that happen in Chiraq or in Chicago. And it's like, is this appropriate when this is a real thing that's going on right now? Like, is this culturally appropriate when real people are losing their lives, real families are being destroyed right now in Chicago, they call Chiraq, right? This is going on right now. This is a big story right now. Or is this just smart marketing? Yo, check it. All these people in here saying all this stuff, man, listen, if the creators behind this in a couple of years pop up and the story is, oh, they make millions of dollars, right? And then they pivot and go on into some other entrepreneurial endeavors, some tells me that nobody's going to be like, well, nah, because you made your money off of that damn game, off the pain and misery. My observation is that the ends justify the means. If they pop up in a year or two and then they take that money and like maybe a pivot and put it into something else, nobody's going to hold it against them. In fact, they'll probably be applauded and celebrated for their hustle, their grind, their ingenuity. I'm just telling you, taking moralisms and right and wrong all out of it, it's a great idea. It's a great idea. Who in the hell? Oh, come on, man. What the hell? What we got to do here? There we go. I got to block this person. Got some spam in the stream. We ain't got time for that. We don't want it. Sarah writes, the repetitive nature of seeing and hearing anything appeals to the subconscious mind. We know that to be true. Daryl writes, I play mostly sports games on my PS5. I'll play COD, Call of Duty, every now and then. I play Call of Duty, Resurgence, the whole 9 yards. It's a hell of a game. It's a lot of fun. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, to me, at this point in my life, there was a time when I was like thinking about doing competitive gaming, right? You know, I wanted to take my skills and take it as far as possible. At this point, I'll be honest with you, it's more about hanging out with my brothers and sisters virtually. I got some people, man, I got a 22-year gamer tag. That's how deep I am. I got the same gamer tag I started with back way back, and I guess that would be the 90s. You know, so I got friends, if you will. I mean, really, people who I go to their house and hang out with them. We could be cool. Who I've never met before. We just been playing a series of video games over 2 decades. At this point in my life, I just don't have the time for it. I wish I did. And when I do, it's usually because my brother or sister will call me like, hey, get on. And it just gives me a way of connecting with them because they're all busy people working with their lives and stuff, kids, the whole 9 yards. And so it's a lot of fun. I'll be honest with you. I got me, my brother's on there. We talk about Chairman Mom, what's going on in their life. And then we also play the game as well. So let me see. Rolando writes, a video game is not going to make a person want to do crime. Hell no. If it turns you on like that, it's already in you. I agree with you. I agree with you basically, Rolando. I do think there's some people that are impressionable and they don't have a good foundation around them and they don't have hope for the future. I think when you have hope for the future that you can accomplish something and be something in your life and with your life, I think in general that stops you from doing a lot of stuff. Because it's kind of like, I don't want to go to jail when I can have this life. I don't want to give up this for that. Right? That's what I think. Brian writes, all money ain't good money. What does that mean exactly in this context? Anthony writes, Nate, plenty of cats out here seeing they do all shot up or in the aftermath of them dying and still don't care. Tanika writes, oh, wow, that's a terrible game. You think it's a terrible game, huh? You think it's a terrible game? I think it's actually a great idea from a gamer perspective in terms of just trying to make money. Is it a bad game? I mean, is it a bad game? Let me think about this, family. Let me really think about this. Like, is this a bad game, like bad for the culture? Let me answer the question I'm asking you this morning. I mean, you know why I'm reluctant to admit that this is a bad game? And I can admit this. I'm reluctant to admit that this is a bad game because if I do that, bad meaning like it's bad for society. I'm reluctant to go that far with it because if I admit that, I feel like I have to admit that hip hop is bad and I don't want to do that. So I've said it before, I'll say it again. I like all forms of hip hop when I'm in the mood for it. You know what I'm saying? As long as you ain't rapping about doing something to somebody underage or forcing some woman or some man to do something against their will. If it's just street tales or Mac tales or whatever, I'm a grown person. I like that sometimes. I'll be honest with you. But I also like my conscious rap. And I also like my inspirational music. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I'm in the mood for some gospel. It depends on my mood. And I don't want to change that. I'm the same way with video games. You know, over the years, sometimes I was into a sporting game. I want to get my NBA 2K on. Maybe I stopped fucking with Madden because Madden is just a bad game. I'll never spend money on Madden ever again. It's just anybody playing Madden, they robbing you. They robbing you. And it's just a terrible game. They don't put enough into it to justify my money. I got off that a long time ago. The best, this is old school for gamers. The best NFL game was that 2K with Terrell Owens on that was made by the 2K folks. Great game. Way better than Madden for $20. And then Madden signed an exclusive deal with the NFL. It's been all downhill because there's no competition. And when there's competition between producers, the audience wins. The consumer wins because they're competing for your dollars. That means it's going to make it cheaper for you and they're going to innovate. Without that competition, they price it however they want to, and there's really no reason to innovate. Sometimes into the fighting games, or maybe I want to do some COD, some Call of Duty, you know, so pardon me. This is not my cup of tea. You know what I'm saying? I would never play the game. I'm just not interested in it. It's not worth my time. Why? It's just not my time. It's just not the kind of, I don't want to sit around figuring out how I'm going to do drug deals and all this kind of stuff. Like if I was into it like that, I'd be selling drugs, and that's just not my thing. But again, this is just my opinion. I mean, of course, Tanika, you got your opinion, completely 100% entitled to it. But, you know, as you leave comments, it just makes me think and it creates new flows. Let me play this one more time for the people that might have missed it. This is the promo trailer for a brand new video game called True or Die Chiraq. And the game allows gamers to be a gang member based in Chicago. And you can do all kind of stuff. Y'all ready? Extreme language. I want to give you a heads up. You'll hear extreme language. Roll tape.
Welcome to Chiraq. True or die, where you or die if you're not moving correctly. Everybody know how dangerous it get out here. Keep you a gun on you at all times, and of course those cost. But what's your life worth? Money. You'll need money to buy clothes, cars, cribs, guns, food, and more. You know, typical shit. But how you gonna get your money is the question. You can sell drugs, guns, sex, do fraud, or you can just be out here robbing motherfuckers. Oh, and if the street life ain't your forte, you could be out here giving rides, working stores, or become an officer. Speaking of 12, if you get caught doing crimes, you doing time. You was sent in prison for some time, and the hustle and the crimes don't stop in that either. It's folks breaking their people out and some more shit. Oh, and a little suggestion, it's homes and traps all over Chiraq. Get you one to store your belongings, because if you die, you lose what you got on you. And get you a crew. It's safe to move in packs, but the bigger the crowd, the bigger the rat risk. There's no rules in Chiraq. You won't get banned for anything. Just stay true or die.
So there it is. Stay true or die. Did he say, you got to get your money up, for drugs, guns, food, typical-ish. That's typical-ish. Guns, drugs, food, typical-ish. Is that right? Oh, man. Brandy writes, and she being honest, I appreciate it. She writes, I'm a gamer. I play this game to see what it is like. But I think it's horrible for a young, impressionable generation. Okay, well, thank you for being honest. You're a gamer, huh? I love gamers. What games you play? I'm curious. I'm a gamer. I'm going to be a gamer. If that's a nerd, I'm a nerd. I love comic books. I love games. I love sci-fi horror films. And I deliver the most superlative flows that you probably ever heard before. So nothing takes away from my masculinity or who I am as a man. I'm just being honest with you, Isha. That's just some of the stuff that I've enjoyed over the years. So I love gamers. What games you play? I'm curious. Let's go to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning, comrade.
What's up, comrade? It's been a minute.
It's been a minute. I've been out here grinding, so I haven't had a chance to call as often, but I've been listening on the replay.
Okay.
But had an opportunity this morning, and I'm a gamer too. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, that 2K, but Terrell Owens was true.
It was. Best football game in the last 15, 20 years.
Yeah. I think, you take 2K, you take Tecmo. Well, I expect Super Tecmo Bowl than Tecmo Bowl, because Super Tecmo Bowl had all the players on there. Tecmo Bowl was the OG, though.
Yeah.
That Tecmo Super Bowl, you could do a whole bunch of stuff on there. And that 2K, man, if you're a gamer, man, you ain't like the 2K. I don't know what's wrong with you. That 2K had everything, but like you said, Madden got the exclusive deal and shut down 2K, and all the Maddens be the same now. Like I could play the old Maddens. I don't even be wanting to go get the new one, because the old ones are just as good. They just basically charging people $60 for the same game.
Yeah, for updated roster.
So
that's it.
Yeah, but right, that's trash though. You can, if you play the game long enough, you can play Legacy, and you can do players anyway and just hit the draft. But that game, was it True or Die?
True or Die Chiraq, yep.
Okay, I gotta say that game looks dope. The game looks dope. I can't even front. But here's the problem though. We got True or Die Chiraq in Cincinnati all week. That's been all week, bro. And here's what I'm scared about. Some of these young folks, they're really weak-minded, Nathan, and it's unfortunate. I think a game like that, I used to be the type of person to be like, man, let them games go. Those games ain't influencing nothing. Well, I see True or Die, and I think about what just happened this entire week in Cincinnati, and I'm like, you know what? These young folks are weak-minded enough that this game would influence some kids to go out here and play True or Die in the streets for real.
You think it's the game, or is it their circumstances, the culture they growing up in? Like this game I don't even know if it's out yet. It's about to be released, I believe.
Well, think about it like this. I'm looking at the game, what you just played, and I'm thinking like, yeah, these kids are living the circumstances. It's complicated, but I don't think the game do no good. Is it supposed to do any good? No, it's supposed to be entertaining. And I was like I said, I was one of these individuals out here who thought like the games don't do nothing, like hip hop music don't do nothing. But I'm just looking at our generation behind us, behind me anyway, because I'm a generation behind you. These kids are so weak minded, man. Games like that, they can go out there and want to play it, even though they ain't never even lived it. I think we've gotten to that point, unfortunately, in our society. It's just it's scary, you know, but I think that's where we're at, unfortunately. These kids, these young people are so weak-minded that they live this stuff. They'll play the game and want to go live it.
Does that mean they're weak-minded or they're impressionable and they don't have a foundation around them?
I think it's weak-minded, bro. I just think it's weak-minded because there's people who grow up in those circumstances who never even get in their lifestyle. You know, there's people who live in some of these neighborhoods who see this stuff every day and they have no inclination to do some of the stuff that's going on. I think it's weak-minded, bro. I think it's unfortunate. I feel like that now, but I've come to that conclusion. They're just weak-minded. They're lazy. They don't want to go to work. They want to go play true or die in the street.
Well, two things. The game is planned to be released right before Christmas on December 22nd. And just so everybody knows, I've already reached out to the developers. Haven't got a response yet. I haven't checked my email this morning. And as soon as I get a response, I hope to bring them on to have a conversation about it, just so people know.
What's the second thing?
I'm sorry, say again?
You said you had two things. That was one.
Yeah, the first thing was that the release date for the game is December 22nd, right before Christmas.
Oh, and number two was you're gonna try to get those people on.
Get the developers on. Yeah, that's number two. Yep.
Okay. Like I said, I think the game looks dope. I think that the concept of the game is tight. But, you know, I'm an adult. And, you know, kids in that teenage range, you know, I would not say the kids probably under 7 years old or younger should be playing that game. But like teenagers, like people under 17, man, I can see that game blowing up. But again, I think it's gotten to a point now where people, you know, kids are sometimes raising themselves a lot of times in games like that. Man, they'll go out here and live that shit. It's sad to me.
But it's people out there living that and they never even heard about the game, right? So it's got to be a bigger factor in the game. I think it's because they don't have what they need in their life. They don't have a good foundation around them. And they don't see hope that they can live a good life. And so they fall into whatever feels good, fast lifestyle. That's what I think.
Okay. Well, you know, there's some kids out here, I ain't going to say kids, but there's some young people out here who got good circumstances who still live that lifestyle too, but they just choose it. And it's not the super minority from my perspective.
Okay.
I've dealt with, you know, kids who have, you know, parents really care about them. They got decent homes. They got a lot of stuff, you know, and they still go out here and do this. They still go out here and pull the trigger and do all kinds of other stuff. I've seen it myself. Like there's a few kids who I've visited with who ain't got shit, and you know, okay, that can be explained away, but it's at least 50-50. I would say, from my personal experience, where kids got basically a lot of stuff. They got homes, they got clothes, got a lot of shit. And they still go out here and do that because it's sure or die. They like that lifestyle. That's what I'm saying. Like even the title of the game, sure or die. It's subliminal. It's gonna. I mean, it's not out yet. I get you on that, but it's gonna impact a lot of the young people. I'm telling you. And it's unfortunate because it used to be like we play Mortal Kombat and wouldn't think twice about doing no Mortal Kombat. It's on the street. But now the times change, and so you know that game's gonna tear it up. Hell, I want to play the game, but I don't want to play true or die in the street. You know what I'm saying? But there's a lot of young people who do, and they got good circumstances. So I don't know, man. It's kind of tenuous to me. Like, you know, the game's gonna be dope, but some of these young people are just so weak-minded. I'm gonna use that term, weak-minded. I ain't gonna use impressionable, weak-minded. That this game's gonna even drive them further to the streets.
You think so? Okay.
I think so. I think so. I hate to say it because I don't like to blame people for being influential like that with games and entertainment. But to me, it's like, man, this entire week here in Cincinnati, where we've seen nothing but murder, kill. a game like that's going to just exacerbate that with the younger generation, to me.
Now, do you think the game will make somebody do something that they haven't already done?
In some cases, it will. It won't. It won't do it, not completely. But it's gonna be some folks out here who get exposed to that game. Gonna play. That's like true or die for real. Gonna run into the right people to play true or die with, and it's gonna be on and popping.
Okay.
It's gonna happen in some cases.
All right.
Which again, I'm sad about that, because again, when we grew up with Nintendo and all this other stuff, Mortal Kombat, it didn't even cross my mind to think like, let me try this in real life.
Right.
But these young folks now, just I think they're just that weak-minded to let the game influence their decision making.
Okay. Anything else, Black Russian?
Man, waiting for my absentee ballot in the mail.
Okay. Who is your six on council?
Six? Oh man. Here, that's a good question. I've been thinking about that. Because there's some people who I was going to vote for who I think I'm going to go ahead and vote for them.
Really?
Let me get an opinion real quick. Yeah, right. I've been converted on some people.
Wow.
Because I've been watching what they're doing. Why? Because I'm a type of voter that I don't have to agree with everything you do or say, but if you level-headed, I'll give you a shot, especially if you ain't been on it before. So, like, for me, I don't even know if I'm going to even do six, because, the shorter your ballot, the more powerful the ballot is. I never do 9. I did 9 like when I first started voting, then I realized that's dumb shit.
Well, 6 is veto-proof. That's why I said 6.
Right, yes, it's a, yeah, but check it out, though. But, we got that issue there where you can suspend a council member. So 7 is a supermajority. So if I need somebody suspended, I'm gonna need 7 people. 6 will get you veto proof. Yeah, 5 will get you majority, but the mayor can veto it. So let me see. I'm gonna vote for Jan Michelle.
After all that shit you talked, you're gonna vote for her. Okay.
Yeah, she's level-headed, but yeah, but again, like I said out the gate, I don't have to agree with you. I don't have to agree with you to say that you're a decent person. Jan Michelle's a decent person. I never said she was a decent person.
Okay.
I didn't like how she did Wendell Young. You know what I'm saying? And I still hold that, I still hold that in the back of my mind, but she's been level-headed. Let me see. I vote for John J. Williams. I'm voting for Gavin Gordon. I'm voting for Steve Gooden. I'm voting for Sunderman. Because I need somebody down there with that type of fire, boy. Let me see. Who else? I'm going to vote for... I got 5 right there. Who am I missing? I'm going to vote for... I'm going to vote for Jackie Fardor.
That's your 6?
6 right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, this time those 6 look like who I might be going with. I'm thinking about 3. Oh, no, I'm voting for Tom Breaking too. That's that. That's what I'm voting for.
You said you voted for Tom Brankman?
Hell yeah, I'm voting for Tom Brankman.
Okay. That's interesting. That's a very interesting 7, brother. I appreciate you sharing that with me. All right?
Yeah.
All right. Have a great day.
And you too. And David Mann for mayor.
All right. Appreciate you. Take it easy. Yeah. Most dead. That's Black Russia. I just asked. I mean, I ain't trying to shame him or whatever. He said some names that it's a no for me, but that's his vote. Everybody has to make their own decision. Here's where I look at it. And we got Galen coming up at 9 a.m. this morning. So in about 40 minutes, I just want to give you as much access to the candidates and information, the facts. You make your decision. You know me, I'm not going to tell you who to vote for now. If I think somebody's on some dumb ish, I'll certainly won't hold my tongue. I ain't going to let the community go out like that, but you make your own decision, whatever you think. All right, let's go back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Nathan. This is Alicia Reese. How are you?
I'm doing great. Alicia, welcome. How you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing great. Listen, I know the last time I was on the show, I told you I would definitely keep the people updated on the Black Music Walk of Fame, and I know we're doing a lot with the 513 Relief Bus, and we've been all over the county. But I wanted to give an update on the Black Music Walk of Fame because something just happened, if that's okay. Just
Sure.
wanted to keep people informed.
Absolutely.
Great. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. Well, something really huge just happened. As you know, the Black Music Walk of Fame, just as a quick recap, the county, we were able to get the votes to have a Black Music Walk of Fame, a permanent fixture that would honor artists, African-American artists from this area who have, been nominated for Grammys or won Grammys, American Music Awards, Stellar Awards, created sounds, something that they've done that has been national and internationally known. And as you know, on the banks, we've got 198 acres of land on the banks, the first land that African Americans, this is where we came, where we settled, and we were sent off of the banks. It wasn't called the banks then, but we were sent off of that and sent into the West End. And so over the years, there has been development going on the banks. $1 billion of public money has gone into it. And if you ride up and down the banks, you don't see one Black business. You don't see one building with a Black name on it. And so there is pretty much nothing in terms of, we do have the Freedom Center, which is about maybe an acre. So let's say now we have 197 acres left. So with that, there's not much left down there, but there is a major corner, the last corner spot, and anybody knows real estate, location, and corner spots are big. We have a corner spot that is on the corner of Marion Way and Elm Street that's called Lot 28, and it was not developed as gravel. And what happened when the music venue that was put down there, which is named after a Caucasian teacher by the name of, I believe, Andrew Brady. And I believe he was from the West Side, is what people were telling me, in the 1930s. And so many people, when I was running, was saying, well, why can't we have something for, it's called the Icon. Where's Bootsy? Where's the Isleys? Where are we? And Otis Williams was the one that really pointed to it and said, can't we be included? So I reached out to the symphony that owns it and Mimi Management, and we had to also reach out to the Bengals because anything close to the stadium, they have some say in. And all of them said, yes, we are in. Let's, we support it. We support you doing this. And so then we had to go back and get the county commissioners, and we were able to get a unanimous vote. I had to find the money. We found the money. And it's going to be $9 million for the infrastructure. That would happen whether it was a Black Music Walk of Fame or not. The infrastructure is $9 million. Then I was told that, well, you got to go get private money rather, if you want the Black Music Walk of Fame stars on there. That's really what makes it the Black Music Walk of Fame. So I was able to get private money from Procter & Gamble to get the stars funded. And so now we had a kickoff. Many people were at it. About 1,000 people came out to the kickoff that we had. And they said, Reese, if you're going to have this kickoff to honor the founding inductees, which was Bootsy Collins, Otis Williams, Charles Fold, and Bootsy Collins, Otis Williams, Charles Fold, and the Isley brothers, they said that if you wanted to have African Americans help, put it on, vendors, you would have to go raise the money. So I went out and had to raise another $30,000 to try to have African Americans help put it on. And we had a number of African Americans vendors help from the catering to the production. P.N. Everson Price helped with the production. All of that, we had to go get the money. So we did, and it was a great event. Now we're in the phase of building it. It's going to be an interactive park that's going to be built. And in order to do that, you have to get the deed to the land. And so the county had an agreement on all the land down there where it's city and county. And so, as you know, the city and the county, usually when they do these things, there's always this huge fight back and forth. And when I was running, people said, why can't we get the city and the county to work together? Well, the city is in the county, and I had been the vice mayor of the city and represented the city, and I've also had been the state rep representing a lot of parts of the county. So I ran on getting down there and being able to be that bridge. So long story short, we had to get the mayor to agree to sign over their rights to the land and give it to us. So even though we had passed it, we had gotten the money, we were ready to go, we still needed the deed to the property. And so we were able to do that. And let me say, this passed in July. And I started wondering, I said, well, wait a minute, where's the deed? Because we want to open this thing next year by the Jazz Festival, which is July of next year. And time is ticking. We got to build, we got to design. I mean, where is it? So anyway, talked with the mayor, and he said, yeah, they're slow walking this thing. And so we had to bring their lawyers, had to get with our lawyers, but we had to drive it and say, we want this thing done. And so what was huge is that we got it done. And what makes it even bigger than myself, but I wanted to, African-American female talking about the banks, real estate development on a corner property, and then being able to say, wait a minute, we've got to get this, we've got to close. And so we did close on it. It was not a fight in the paper between the city and the county. We got this thing done, and the city signed over their rights to it so that we could fund it because they didn't have the funding to do it. And they've got some other projects that now they could put their money toward as well. So just wanted to say that's a big deal for us to do that. Now we can move forward. We're now moving. We've got the concept drawings, but now we go with the engineers. We got to get this deadline. We're less than a year away, and our goal is to open by July of the festival. So I wanted to give people what's going on and understand that there's levels to this. We are not at the level now of who's going to be inducted next year. That's the easy part. We are now having to go in when we get things passed at the county, and I'm just giving y'all an inside look because I told you I would. When we pass stuff, it's not like we pass it. I've never seen this before in any government I've been in. The hard part usually is getting something passed. No, we get something passed, I still got to fight the administration because they're going to decide when they want to do it, if they're going to do it right away, if they're going to slow walk it. It's just an incredible fight. So there's levels to this. We had to, one, have the vision. Two, we had to find that land that was available. Three, we had to go find where we're going to get the money. Four, we had to make sure the partners, the Bengals, the Symphony, me, all those folks are on board. Five, we had to go get the mayor and say, hey, can we get the deed? And six, we had to get a unanimous vote of the commission. And then seven, we got to keep our eye on the administration to keep this thing moving. Eight, we had to go out and get private money to get the stars because they said if you don't do that, we're not going to fund them. And then nine, we had to get the private money to have the event, to have the kickoff. And so there's still more steps, there's still more levels, but this is a complex thing. And if you go down there, it's gravel. We're coming out of the gravel and building something from the ground up. And I just wanted to articulate that. And I think it was huge to have Katie Blackburn Brown, who has stood at every press conference with us, the Symphony CEO who's been with us, Jonathan Martin, Mimi, Mike Smith that stood with us, the Freedom Center who had to stand. These are all people who have to, the Procter & Gamble, Damon Jones, you're either a funder or you had some land or you had to sign off on the land. And I would say I want to also thank Mayor John Cranley because the games that were played, he could have just said, well, let me just ride this out. But he said, no, let's get this done. And we were able to get it done. So that's what happened. And the reason we have press conferences is because I want it out in the open. I want the people to know what's going on. For too long at the county, you don't know anything that's going on because everything's been done in private, in secret. By the time you find out about it, it's too late. So I wanted people to know, and I've got to get it out because if you don't, they will slow walk this stuff. I've seen it firsthand. And we have the same issues with the bus. You see the bus and it's doing great, but it's a lot of behind the scenes things with the bus that every day is a struggle. First they didn't want to bring the computers. They don't want to get the people information on the spot. Then they said, well, wait a minute, we don't want to promote it. Then they said, well, wait a minute, it's too successful. Let's try to cut the time. Let's don't go out as long. I mean, every week is something else. But I'm going to keep people informed. The best news, the big news is we got the deed, we got the land, and now we're moving to the next phase. And I want to also say this because I think it's important. There's a lot with music. And Nathan, you've been knowing me a long time. I come out of music over 50 years in my family in marketing, promotions, advertising. This is my arena, so I know it really well. My mother sold thousands of albums, and she's not even living today, and she's on Apple iTunes. So I have had the chance of growing up in this, understanding this, hearing the stories, and that's how come I kind of know a lot of people, Bootsy from a long time, and know about Otis Williams. And my grandfather was at the printing press at the King Records. So, there's a lot going on with music. People, are doing a lot of things, and those are great. With this particular project, and it doesn't stop other music because music's going on all the time. We got a concert this weekend at Heritage. We got Icon got stuff. We got stuff at Washington Park. We got many programs that help people who are just getting started. But this particular Walk of Fame is designed for people who have not gotten any recognition, who have sold records, Grammys, American Music Awards, Stellar Awards, those type of things. That's what this particular project is. And I wanted to clarify that because some people get, well, wait a minute, I've been working in music and I ain't been recognized. Well, what does Otis Williams feel? 85 years old and just now getting recognized. Bootsy Collins, Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, named not on one music venue ever. So, I just wanted to put those things out there. That's not to say we can stop and not do anything. There's other things. And in the Black community, we got to be a lot smarter. We look at one thing and look like, oh my God, that's my one shot. No. When you look at just one entity, the symphony, for example, the symphony owns the Icon, PNC Pavilion, River Bend, and even in Dayton, the Rose, and they run the TAF. That's just one example. You go in our community, you got Burger King, Wendy's, and McDonald's. We got to change our thinking. We can't just have one thing. We need to be looking at there's multiple things, and we got to start changing the way we think about it. So I just wanted to say that, and I appreciate the time, Nathan, but I told you I would come back and update as things happen. And that's the major phase we got was the land. We're now moving to engineers, people with hard hats. That's where we're going. And that's our next phase because we got to get this up out of the ground and ready to go in less than 1 year.
Well, Alicia, I appreciate your time and coming back and swinging back and talking with the audience here. Got a quick question for you from Janice. She wants to know who'll be responsible for the ongoing future upkeep of the Black Music Walk of Fame.
We're going to get to that. The way we designed it, the upkeep will be minimal, and that's why I designed it that way. It will not be a program, so it's not like we have a program and we've got to every year finance a program. This is an infrastructure project, so it will be just like where you ride down there. I mean, it'll be some minimal things that will happen, but we won't know exactly what that is until we complete this next phase with the engineers. But this place will be built on technology. So we're trying to make it where it's interactive from a technology standpoint. And the stars will be the walk. And then there will be some landscaping that will be involved. And that we've had several offers to keep the landscape upkept, to keep the upkeep of the landscaping. Also going to give a shout out to the Urban League, who's also been supportive and a part of this, and probably will be working with Mimi, who is the direct neighbor. So this is not a program where we'll have, this is a 501c3 and we're doing programs. That's not what this is. We got enough people that's already doing that.
Well, Alicia, I appreciate you. I think it's a great idea. I think people who might be resistant to it don't understand how when Black folks, brown folks come from out the city and they see a celebration of Black artists, how that may make them look at the city of Cincinnati a little bit differently. It might make them want to live here or invest here because they're seeing that Black and brown people are getting their just shine and their acknowledgement.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. I just gave the terminology, like you said, is what we're doing is this is a tourism infrastructure project. And this will create a music corridor on the banks because you've got the Icon, that's a music venue, indoor, outdoor. We're right next to that, connected to that. And then across the street is Paul Brown Stadium that hosts the oldest African-American music festival in the nation. So a lot of people that play at the festival will probably be some that will be inducted into the Walk of Fame. But those things, when you do a concert, you come and you leave. We will now be able to not leave. It will be here 365 days in a year. It will also be marketed. People will come from all over the world to see it. It puts us in a place of also, from a convention visitors standpoint, in a something that we can sell as we go up against the Nashvilles of the world. Since the announcement of this, there's already been an article. We are now in the top 10. We are number 7 for the first time in history of cities for music. So now we've got all that going. So you're right. This is to certainly honor and have a permanent fixture of our history and those kind of things, but also it's a tourism attraction to bring more business to our county and to our city. And then lastly, let me say that it connects economically. The music festival, and this is very key to this project, the music festival brings in $107 million a year, one of the largest annual of any festivals, to Hamilton County. We make money off of it. And therefore, but when it comes in, the money comes in, nothing goes to our community. It goes into these different pots. It goes into the Convention Facilities Authority, which is good, but that helps with, other things. It goes into parking fund that goes to help build other garages. Nothing comes back to anything that's specific for African Americans. So when you look at this from a numbers game, it makes sense. We could take that $107 million and move it up. The festival has been canceled for 2 years. It's coming back next year. We got a new attraction with it. It brings in all the national bloggers. All of the travel folks come in and write about it. It brings more people to our city from an economic standpoint. So you're absolutely right. When I talk about this, there's levels to this project. And I want to stress that I got a lot of people coming in. There's levels. So one of those levels is this was very important to this project to sell it, to make it go. When having the Bengals be in support, which they have to because that's in their contract. Before I got here, it was in the contract that the voters voted on. Anything around it, they got to sign off on. But not only did they sign off on it, but they also helped with the initial concept drawing. Well, when we had those Monday Night Football games and everything, boom, they could pan in. Let me show y'all the Black Music Walk of Fame that's right here, downtown Cincinnati. And so that's very important. So again, I represent the whole county, not just Cincinnati, but when you look at the whole county, when you bring in $107 million every year, that allows us to do other things and invest throughout the county. that makes sense. And when we put something down there that's going to help us bring in more attraction, more people parking, more people coming down there, more people coming to town, booking hotels, that makes sense. So you're absolutely right. This is a tourism infrastructure project. And then the last thing is, I don't think there's been anything that I can recall funded by the government that has the word Black. And believe me, I'm taking a lot of hits for that. I've taken some hits for having it. But it was very important because that was the group that was left behind in all of this. Black Music Walk of Fame. And out of 198 acres, you can walk the banks and look for it, and you won't find it. Not one Black business, not one Black name on anything in terms of a major attraction. You got the National Underground Railroad Freedom Center, but I'm saying anything that says Black or that's a Black-owned business, you won't see it. And even with the Freedom Center, you're talking about 1 acre possibly out of 198 acres. So we've done our homework, and those who are for it, hey, you got to speak up. I've got to keep the project moving. I don't have time to get involved. I got to stay very focused. I can't get involved in little battles, small fights or whatever. So if you like it, speak up, and just know that this was not easy. Not on this prime. Anybody that's in where are all my realtors at? You can't get a corner spot on the banks. Not no prime property like this, and to have something that's going to be this phenomenal. So I'm excited about it. And Nathan, I just wanted to keep your listeners updated, keep you updated. And now they say, where are you going next? The next phase is that we're going to the engineer phase. And the next thing you'll probably hear, I'm giving you an update. I'm giving it to you first. The stars are headed to the airport. They will be on display at the airport until they come into the ground. So you'll be hearing about that soon. We just cut a deal with the airport, and I think this might be the first time something like this, the airport with a permanent fixture of something like this with the stars, Black Music Walk of Fame. So we're on our way to the airport, and you'll be hearing about that soon. And we're on our way to these engineers and designers and construction people to make sure we make that deadline, because we're less than 1 year away, which is probably unheard of. But I told her we got to be open by the time of the music festival.
All right, Alicia, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you.
Thank you all so much. And if you want to keep up with it, you can also follow me on Facebook, Alicia Reese, County Commissioner, and you can see all this stuff live as it is happening.
All right, thank you for your time. That's Alicia Reese, everybody. And again, I ain't trying to ish on nobody, but I just got to make this point. Now, Alicia Reese been down there less than a year, and we've heard from her more about things that she's doing in less than a year than the 2 current county commissioners. I'm familiar and friendly with Denise Driehaus. I'm familiar and friendly with Stephanie Summerall Dumas. I'm not trying to ish on nobody, but real is real, and that's what we do here. We've heard from her more on this show, and the community has seen Alicia Reese more about things that she's doing than we've heard, and she's been there less than a year. It ain't even been, has it been 6 months? What was it? It was back in March, right? March, April, May, June, July, August. So about 7-8 months. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? The people want to hear from you. They want to see you doing things. And am I the only one that sees that? Am I the only one who sees that? You know what I'm saying? I'm not issuing on Denise Driehaus. We never hear from her. I'm not issuing on Stephanie Summerall. At least I never hear from them. You know, maybe they're on other shows. Again, that's just what it is. Again, people keep underplaying this audience to their own detriment. They keep doing it. Don't look at that number up there. That number is misleading. This number is very misleading. But I'm just saying, I mean, damn, it's been less than a year. We keep hearing about things that are happening. I like the idea. For all those reasons, I mean, I like the idea because from, as she put it, much more eloquently than I did, from a convention tourism standpoint, that helps to put Cincinnati on the map. You know, if I'm not a Cincinnatian, I come into the city, I'm like, oh, y'all got a Black Wall of Fame? Oh, y'all recognize Black folks here, huh? That might make me be more open to do business with the city and the county. That might make me be more open to maybe move to the city. It might change the way I look at the city. You know what I'm saying? So I loves it. I hope they build it. I hope it's fabulous. She's right. I can see it. Thursday night football. The Bengals were just on Thursday night football. They do a cutaway shot. Oh, and check out the Icon Center, the Black Music Hall of Fame. Why not? Why not is what I say. And it's to my knowledge, and again, I'm not saying I did a lot of research on this, but to my knowledge, there are no Black-owned businesses. The last one that was down there, Sis was ran out of there, and people tried to embarrass her and all this kind of stuff. Now she's doing big things. She's doing big things. She's doing way bigger things that was on the banks with Mahoganies. I loves it. I loves it. Give me some more. I loves it. Why not? Why shouldn't we have a Black Music Hall of Fame? Walk of Fame. Why not? I can't think of any reason why not. It'll make the banks more interesting because it's bland right now. It's just so bland. Like, you know, again, you got the Reds and the Bengals. That's great. But we need more than just that. You know what I'm saying? We need to open it up to everybody down there. So we'll see. I've walked past around the Icon Center, but I'm curious to see what it looks like. And I think it'll be dope, man. It could make Cincinnati yet another more a destination spot. And I'll say this again. People that come to Cincinnati love this city. They love this city. They love Cincinnati. They love the structure. They love the hills, the topography. They love the tradition. They love the food. They love the river. Like people that are not from Cincinnati, Black and white people that are not from Cincinnati, who don't know the history, they're not caught up with everything that's going on here with Black and brown folks and the disparities. But people that just come to the city, they rave about Cincinnati. They rave about it. And like I said, I've heard it about the topography, the hills, the elevation, just the green spaces, the food, the river, the access to different things, the uniqueness in the architecture and design, OTR, all of it. I just want to let people know that. Now, you might be from Cincinnati, you jaded, and I get it. But people who are not from Cincinnati love Cincinnati. They don't just like it, they love Cincinnati. So in the midst of all of our critiques and criticisms and our struggle for equity policy and tangibles, I don't think we should overlook what we got here. You know what I'm saying? I don't think we should overlook that. There's a whole lot of work to be done here. But we can do that. There's nothing that needs to be done in Cincinnati that we can't do. Nothing. There's nothing that can't be done. But let's go back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Mr. Ivy. This is your West Side Connection, Drop Squad 52, also known as the Black Not Democrat. And yes, sir, it's Friday. I ain't got no job. Oh, that's right. I'm retired. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing excellent. Welcome.
Well, thank you for having me. And on Friday, I think what I need to do, Mr. Ivy, is to offer you a update on the current polling of our 46th president, Joseph R. Biden. And you know the poll that I always cite is from the website Real Clear Politics, which is an average of all polls.
Right.
The latest job approval of our president is 43.9% approval overall. His approval on the economy is 44.3%. His approval on immigration is 32.4%. His approval on foreign policy is 38.4%. His approval on handling the COVID-19 is 51.2%. And the final one is, the question is the direction of the country, 60.2%. Average think the country under the president, Joe Biden, is headed in the wrong direction. Let me say that one more time. 60% think that the country is headed in the wrong direction. And one last website you might want to check, Mr. Ivy, is the Washington Post. And the article was written on October 11th by Cleve R. Wootson Jr. And the headline, sir, frustration is at an all-time high. Biden's falling poll numbers. And if you allow me to read one little paragraph, Mr. Ivy, and this is from Atlanta, and the man's name is W. Mondale Robinson. He spent a large chunk of last fall in clubs and bars and concert venues in Georgia trying to convince disenchanted Black men that casting a ballot in the 2020 general election, then the Georgia runoffs for the U.S. Senate, could finally mean real change in their community. But Robinson, the founder of Black Male Voter Project, thinks the case would be a lot harder to make now. He remembers the exact moment his optimism that President Biden would be different began to fade when the Democrats in May said they are willing to significantly weaken a policing reform bill to get Republican support. So again, Mr. Ivey, it's Friday. I haven't heard you speak much about national politics lately. So I think it is my duty to point out that there's problems waning in the Black community. And this man that I just quoted from this article is the head of the Black Male Voter Project. And you also said it last week, Mr. Ivey, after one of my calls. You said, yeah, Drop may be coming in here with some crazy stuff, but what he's saying about the Black vote right now is true. Black voters are starting to say, I knew it, here we go again. So he's only 9 months in, he's got a lot of time left, but Mr. Ivey, it is unacceptable for the Democrat Party to not have passed something by now, Mr. Ivey. They're out on recess again, sir. This is getting bad, and I don't know. Some people are starting to wonder, is this what they really want to happen? You got supply chains, you got shipping cargo ships backed up in the ports of Long Beach, California, and other parts like in Baltimore, Maryland. It's just problems all over the place, and the president does not look like he's handling it very well. Yesterday, he came out and spoke. Mr. Ivey, you could look in the man's eyes and tell that he's on some type of medication, some type of drug. And I don't wish nothing bad on the president, but he's only 9 months in, Mr. Ivey, and it's already taken a toll on him. So maybe somebody, maybe Mays, maybe Donita, maybe Glenn from Mason, maybe Daryl from Atlanta, maybe Brian, maybe somebody that is a clear supporter of the Democrat Party and their agenda. Maybe they can come on here and explain, I don't know, maybe some optimism or something, but I don't think it's a lot of happy Black voters as well as white voters and Hispanics who voted Democrat right now. So that's all I got, Mr. Ivey. And I wish I could see your face right now. But speaking of gaming, how do you like my new headset, Mr. Ivey? Because I actually bought a gaming headset to talk to you and all the people who listen to the Nathan Ivey Show.
It sounds good.
How does it sound?
It sounds good. I mean, what type of gaming headset is it? Some of those things can get really pricey.
I don't know, Nate. I shop by price myself, and I wanted to keep my budget under $25, and these headsets only cost like $15.
Okay. It don't sound too bad. I mean, you can get it to like $250 for a gaming headset, but it sounds good.
No. You know, in the beginning, Mr. Ivey, you guided me when I first started my whole podcasting venture and buying equipment and everything. You helped me out a lot because I really didn't want to spend any money on this hobby, but I invested wisely with your guidance, and I truly appreciate your guidance because I didn't want to spend a lot of money at all. So, but thank you anyway, Mr. Ivey, and I appreciate you allowing me to bring up something that's happening right now. And it's really a serious issue because that infrastructure bill, because Alicia Reese was talking about something related to that. They can pass that bill right now, Mr. Ivey. It's no excuse for them not to pass that one bill and then fight over the 3.5 at a later date. And because, like you said, you got to show some tangibles and some policy. You got to show that you care about your voters, that you listen to them, and you're going to try to at least make the appearance that you're trying to fulfill some of your campaign promises. So that's all I got, sir. And y'all be safe in them streets. And it's a real thing out there, that video game, because you know, Mr. Ivey, art reflects culture, society. So everything in that video is happening in real life. It's happening on Twitter feeds across the country. Social media allows these young kids to get on there with the gunplay and with the threats of assault and murder, you know. But again, hey, social media, it's not ours, it's theirs. They control everything. So that's all I got. Drop Squad 52, dropping science to anyone who wants to fact check it. Be safe in them streets. Chop out.
Appreciate you, brother. Take it easy. That man, that black man right there. We got Galen G. Gordon coming up. He's backstage right now. He is running for Cincinnati City Council. And as I've been telling you, early voting is taking place right now. So we're going to get to Galen in just a second. But before we do, I want to take a quick pause. There's some folks that want your attention. They're running for City Council. Again, don't forget, you don't have to wait till November the 2nd. You can vote early right now in Hamilton County at the Hamilton County Board of Elections. It's over at 4700 Smith Road. If you have any questions, you can call ahead right now. And to callers calling in, I see Daryl's calling in, John's calling in. Please hold on until after we get off with Galen, unless you have a question for Galen. But you can vote early right now up until November the 1st. Up until November the 1st, you got two opportunities to vote, two ways to vote. You can vote right now early, or you can vote at your assigned polling location on Election Day. That's November the 2nd. We'll take a quick pause and then come straight back to you. It's the Nathan Ivey Show. We're live, we're local, and we're vocal.
Good morning, Choppers. I'm Scotty Johnson, candidate for Cincinnati City Council. Unfortunately, injustice remains in the city of Cincinnati. A remedy for injustice is courageous, bold leadership. I plan on bringing that type of leadership to City Hall. It's time to stop talking about it and to start doing something about it. Disparities have been in Cincinnati far too long. I'm the candidate to address those disparities. Vote Scotty Johnson for Cincinnati City Council.
Paid for by friends of Scotty Johnson.
I'm former Mayor Dwight Tillery asking you to vote for my friend, Michelle Dillingham, who is a Democrat running for Cincinnati City Council. The black population in our city has declined, pushing black homeowners out while speculators purchase their houses for pennies on the dollar. Black people are being foreclosed on because of rigged housing and economic systems.
Michelle Dillingham will fight for you. This is Victoria Strong. You know me, Sister V. City Council prefers investing in a soccer stadium and gentrifying our historic neighborhoods. Malcolm X said that if you don't own land, you're nothing but a squatter.
Come on, Michelle, talk to the people.
City Council is being sued for discriminatory tax abatement programs that unfairly enrich wealthy white neighborhoods. I know because I've been fighting for reform for years. Isn't it time to elect a candidate who will stand up for the people over special interests? Vote for me, Michelle Dillingham, Democrat for Cincinnati City Council.
Paid for by Dillingham for Council Committee.
This is Hamilton County Commissioner Alicia Reese, and I've been busy fighting hard for the citizens of our county. But today I'm asking you to vote for my friend, Democrat Elizabeth Tye, for municipal court judge. Elizabeth Tye and her family stood with me in a tough election. Now I'm asking you to stand with Elizabeth Tye for judge. She's from our community, and she's qualified. Elizabeth Tye grew up in Kennedy Heights and graduated from Central State University. Elizabeth Tye has been a prosecutor, a public defender, and has built a law practice from the bottom up. There is currently only one black woman on the municipal court. It's time to send another one. Join me in voting for my sister, Elizabeth Tye, for judge. Meet me at the polls.
This is Elizabeth Tye, and there is only one judicial race, and I need you to vote Tye for judge. Let's send a clear message that hard work and experience matters. Go vote Tye for judge today.
Paid for by the committee to elect Democrat Elizabeth Tye for municipal judge.
All right, just a quick break. This morning we were talking about this brand new video game, True or Die, Chiraq. It allows gamers to become Chicago gang members. We spend a lot of time talking about whether you think this is good for the culture, things like that. But I want to switch the game up a little bit. We want to talk local politics here on the Nathan Ivey Show because we are live, local, and vocal. And we've got someone who is a candidate for city council on the line right now. He's zooming in right now, Galen G. Gordon. And I want to bring him on the screen immediately. How you doing, Galen?
Hey, good morning, brother Nathan. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well.
Awesome.
Welcome to the show.
Awesome.
Welcome
Thank
to the show.
Thank you so much, brother. I'm excited to be here. And thank you for everything that you have done, continue to do for all these years. And you're an inspiration, my brother. So I appreciate everything you do for Cincinnati.
Oh man, kind words, man. Flattery
Yeah.
will get you nowhere, but I
It's
appreciate
all right.
it. It's all good.
Just speak the
But
truth, man. That's it.
I appreciate you, man. I really do.
Yes,
I
sir.
appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
So let's get into it, man. So, you're running for city council. So let's just start with the basics. I know people
Sure.
may have heard you on the NAACP or other forums, or you're from
Yep.
Cincinnati, but
Yes, sir.
let's just approach it as if people are hearing you for the first time. So I
Sure.
want to start with the real basics and just tell us about yourself. Like, are you from Cincinnati? Where'd you grow up? Where'd you go to high school?
Okay.
Just give us the basics.
Absolutely. Born in Madisonville, so definitely born here in the city. And we moved. I went to high school in Milford. I am one of 5 kids, the middle child, and went to Milford High School, went on to Wilmington College, and then sold real estate. About 9 years, I got into the hospitality industry, and that's what I do now. I love Cincinnati, so I made a conscious decision to move back into the city. So just like many of your listeners and viewers now, could live anywhere we wanted to, but I chose to come back into Cincinnati because of how I felt about the city. So that's how I got to where I am now. I live in the West End. I've been there since 2014, and excited to be a West End resident. And I'm a father. I'm married. Got two beautiful girls. Went to Walnut Hills High School with my oldest. And, my wife is from the Bonheasy, is what she tells me. That's what they call it. So she's from Bon Hill, and I'm just excited. We are a Cincinnati family.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And what made you decide to run for city council? Why now?
There's several things. I've always been closely engaged. I'm one of those, and I think you probably agree that all politics are local, and if we're going to have any kind of impact on our lives and the lives of our families and the people who come behind us, we got to get engaged in the local process. People go and they vote for president. To me, that's too late. And so I've always been engaged. I've always volunteered and helped out other candidates in their campaigns. But the timing wasn't necessarily right before because of the nature of the job that I was doing didn't provide flexibility. My children were younger then. My wife and I, we're 10 years in, 11 years in, excuse me. So we're in a good spot. So the timing was really right. And I thought about it actually in 17. And so now this is the time. And I'm excited to be here. And I'm hoping to earn some votes from your viewers and listeners.
Okay. So you say you live in the West End right now, right? Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. Yes,
So what
sir.
do you think about? Let's start right there. That's a good, interesting spot to start.
Yeah.
The West End. There's a little bit of controversy, or more than that, depending on how you look at it, about the FC soccer stadium. What's your take on where the West End is right now? If you were on council, as you understand the deal, would you have voted for that deal for the West End soccer stadium?
So living in the West End, being a part of the community council, a member of the community council, and an engaged citizen who is aware of some of the negotiations and how things were accomplished. I believe that the West End was the best place for the stadium, and better than being in Oakley or being in Newport. I thought it was best for Cincinnati. And in communication, I think as long as the team, because we had the community benefits agreement, as long as the team continues to honor the agreement that they promised to make to our neighborhood, and so far they've done that. And the construction folks, they honored their promise and agreement as far as hiring people who live in the West End. They continue to do that, then it can work. That's up to this point, Nathan. And so, there's still more to come. And so we have to continue to hold the team accountable for the promises that they made to our neighborhood. And so I think you don't want to miss out on an opportunity like that to bring investment. And in communications that I've had with my neighbors and people who live in the West End, I believe that most people believe that FC has been a good neighbor to this point.
You think I'll be good for the West End moving forward?
I believe so. Again, what is that? Trust but verify. So you got to make sure, that we hold them accountable. And I don't see any reason why they won't be, Nathan. But you can't just go off their word. And that's why There is a community coalition. I'm not sure if everybody knows that. There's a community coalition that meets with the team's consultants to get information and make sure that they stay on top of the promises that they made. And I'm a part of that community coalition. And so it's our job to hold the team, hold their feet to the fire, and make sure they continue to do as they promised. The reality is they didn't have to do anything. And so it was good that we had the community benefits agreement so that we could make sure we got something from them and make sure that they are at least listening to the residents of the community.
Okay, you got a lot of questions coming in. I'm gonna let the choppers have at it. Rolando wants to know, Galen, what was it that they promised besides working at the stadium? Speaking, I guess, the deal between the FC Cincinnati and
so there's
Patriots
funding that goes to the community. Members in the West End can get funds for improvements. There's funding that folks can get for improvements of their houses. There's organizations, any of our youth organizations or organizations that are impacting youth in the West End. There's funding available for them. I think it's up to $10,000, and it's not just like any organization can get up to $10,000. Because I think totally it's $100,000 a year that they've promised to give, and so that money is there and available for people, who can meet whatever the criteria is. And it's not hard to meet that criteria. One of the things that we were able to do for Hayes Porter Elementary was to provide a school, a garden. We built a garden of fresh vegetables for the students at Hayes Porter Elementary, and the majority of that money came from the FC Foundation that they gave for us to be able to do that. And that garden, unfortunately, because of COVID, the youth missed out on a lot of it, but they're able to enjoy it now, and it's pretty amazing. It's a beautiful thing, an opportunity for our kids to be able to understand how to cultivate and be able to understand, how good fresh vegetables are, how tasty, and how you can just eat them straight from the earth. So that's pretty awesome. They did do the employment there at the stadium. When you talk about employment working at the stadium, it's not just being a vendor. No, we're talking about the construction jobs, and we're talking about like real opportunities for people, with good paying jobs. And also that wasn't just at the stadium. Working with the Community Link Center, folks were able to get free training and then also find employment beyond the stadium. So like working with Turner and working with Jostin at other venues and other sites. So that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I mean, the construction's done now. That's interesting. I don't have those numbers in front of me. You may have a better idea of it. Do you know how many Black folks actually participated in the construction, like either working for Turner or Jostin or whoever?
I don't have that in front of me either, but I do know that the promises that they made for women and for African Americans and people in the West End, that they met those percentages. But I don't have that in front of me.
Yeah.
But it should be easy to get, though.
Right. From the outside looking in, and I say outside, like I spent some time in the West End, those Lynn Street apartments close to Regal. I watched my first movies at the Regal Theater, which now is being repurposed.
Romac, hopefully, yes.
Yeah, I think is a great idea.
Absolutely.
And hope to have the founders on real soon to talk about that. But so that's my involvement with the West End. My thing is, if the West End residents decide they want to go for it, but my question is, do you think that the deal was sweet enough? Was it a good enough deal for the West End, for the West End residents? Are the West End residents getting enough out of it? If you were on council, is there anything about the deal that you would have changed, that you don't like, or you would have pushed for more here or there?
I don't know that I would have pushed for more. What I don't like, Nathan, was some of the emergency meetings that were done. It seemed to lack transparency. So that part to me is no good. But I don't feel like I don't know that we could have gotten more. I mean, you could certainly try to ask for more, money or however it is. But I believe you're talking about hours and hours that community leaders in my neighborhood, with attorneys who we trusted, sat down in negotiations. So it wasn't just like the team was like, we're going to do this, goodbye. There were hours and hours and hours of communication and of negotiation. And so what we ended up with is what our community leadership thought was the best we could do. So to answer your question, yes, because I trust the people who were in the room, and I trust that we did the best we could.
Right. Let's stay here a little bit more. I think this is very, very interesting because you live in the West End, and this is a small example of a larger conversation that we're having here in the city about these developments, and then what's going to be the posture of future council members, because that's a fine line. Like, there's some folks who believe that the FC Cincinnati Stadium is going to be overall good. It'll spur development, but they also admit that it's going to gentrify, right? The rent's going to go up, and that this historical Black neighborhood, those residents won't be able to live there, many of them. We already know that some businesses and residents have been displaced, and in some cases they weren't really owners, they were renters. But as a council person, what's that line for you? How do you judge whether this is a good deal or not? Like, do you believe it's possible to have development without displacement? And if so, if there's certain policies, what would be your thought process if you're on city council?
Sure. I do believe you can have development without displacement. Certainly, if you're building where there's any habitable structure, then the chances are that somebody may be displaced. And we do have to figure out what the overall pros are. And when folks are being displaced, if it's the free market and somebody wants to sell their building and I want to buy their building, I mean, that's a nasty thing. It's nothing really that can be done about that part. But certainly when it comes in like this, where people want money, they want tax abatements and subsidy, that's where this community benefits agreement can come in. And so when you talk about some of the folks who were displaced, that's because that landlord wanted to sell that building. Obviously, being right next to the stadium and the property, took advantage of an opportunity, but that wasn't really part of the original plan. So there wasn't a whole lot that the city could do about that, but still went in and tried to negotiate for the folks who live there. And so no, they're not able to stay where they were, but we have to understand that that wasn't part of the original contractual agreements. That was something that was an add-on, and it wasn't part of the abatement process. It wasn't part of the subsidy process. That was a landlord and owner of property who, made a decision to sell his property to the team. And so that's the thing for me, where we have to talk about what you're saying is we got to get ownership, Nathan. And so what I am trying to do for us is really hone in for African Americans that we start owning property. And that's the only way that we're going to be able to protect ourselves, to protect our neighbors, to be in a situation where we can create opportunities where people aren't forced to move, if they don't want to. I'm impacted, so I want you to know this. We own our home in the West End, and our property tax went up. And it went up a lot. And so some people will say, oh, well, you get this nice new shiny, right? Oh, gentrification is going to raise your property value. Aren't you happy? Well, no, because it raises my taxes too. And coming out of this pandemic that we're in, I don't have any extra money to put towards that. And so it's not, so I'm feeling it myself. And I knew that was going to be the case, that our mortgage was going to be more, than it was when we moved in there. And I don't plan on moving. So, if I thought, oh yeah, let me run in here, like some people would do, right? Run in here as an investment, raise it up and then sell it. But that's not what we're doing. Again, I chose to live in the city and I love living in the West End. And so we're in a situation now where we got to find a few extra dollars, got to dig a little deeper because it's not money that we were prepared to have. And it's something that impacts many families all across our city. And so getting back to what I was saying is we got to me, figure out how we can buy our blocks back. And so when we're talking about African-American neighborhoods that have lacked investment, I believe there are people in the West End, there are people in Avondale, people in Bond Hill who already have what I consider an entrepreneurial mindset, people who are already in that feeling where they want to own and operate a business. The city council can go in We talk about how do you invest in neighborhoods. To me, you got to invest in the neighborhood business district. Go into these business districts. Many of our African-American neighborhoods still have the infrastructure, and fix these up. And then let's communicate with the people who live there. Let's find out from their neighborhood plan. Almost every neighborhood has a neighborhood plan already that identifies what types of businesses that they want in their neighborhood, not businesses that you said they should have. It's businesses that the neighborhood says they want in their neighborhood. And so the city can invest in the business districts, and then we can say, hey, resident of Avondale, we can create this opportunity for you. And we already got the resource. You got the African American Chamber, the Urban League, you got Mortar, you got things like that. All of these organizations that help people find money, that help people learn how to create a business plan. And then we can get them and encourage the folks who live in the neighborhood to own these businesses. The other thing we can do is you can go put 10 people together, Nathan, you get 5, I get 5. If we got $100 a month that we can put together and put it to the side in an account, 2 years, we got enough money, we can buy a building. And that's not happening. We got to have ownership, and we have to teach and share with each other as African Americans how we can truly invest in our own neighborhoods. And that's what we got to do, start buying our blocks back. I think it's starting to happen in Bond Hill and Roselawn. That's awesome. But it's not happening fast enough, because that's where the city can come in, is to provide the resources faster and help get rid of the red tape.
Yeah. Speaking with Galen G. Gordon, he's running for city council. So Galen, let me ask you this, because I've heard this a lot during the NAACP Prince Hall virtual forums, and from the candidates, and they'll say, well, we've already got this in place. So it makes me wonder, and I've heard you say that this morning, it makes me wonder, so how do you see your role on city council? If we've already got Mortar and we've already got all these infrastructure, these resources, then what role do you play on city council? How do you see yourself benefiting that?
My job is to connect. My job is to make sure that the residents know that these opportunities are available. My job is also to help these organizations who we already trust to do this work, is to help them get access to funds faster, or whatever roadblocks that they may have. That would be my job as city council, is to make sure that the resources are available faster, and that there aren't, a lot of roadblocks in their way.
Okay. Somebody wants to know, do you have what's the first initiative or policy that you want to introduce or champion if you're elected to city council?
What I want to do is a couple things, actually. I want to figure out how we can stabilize rents without penalizing landlords. Nathan, I have experienced the alienation of gentrification. I have also experienced the embarrassment of eviction, and trying to figure out how to rebuild my life through both of those circumstances. Now, my wife and I, we are homeowners and we're landlord. And so to me, this gives me a unique experience to kind of understand what families are going through in Cincinnati, the sacrifices that they're making on a daily basis, because I've been there. And so I want to figure out, how can we stabilize rents and not doing a mandate, not doing rent control, Nathan, but what if we did like an opt-in process where we told that landlord, how about you hold this rent for the next 5 years? Hold that rent the same, so that this family can do better with their budgeting process, so that this family has a better opportunity to manage, and hopefully, in 5 years, the money that they could save. So what happens typically if you're a landlord, you raise the rent every year, maybe like $50, right, a month. And so $50 a month, 10, 500, that's about $600, $650 a year. After 5 years, do the math, that's like $3,000. For most people who have multiple units and landlords, $3,000 is not a ton of money. But think about the difference that could make for a family to be able to save $3,000. Think about the bills that they could pay, or a car that they could have, or it creates other opportunities for the family to grow and get ahead. And the other thing that it does by doing this is it helps create neighborhood stabilization. And so then when we're talking about gentrification and things of that nature, we're talking about the mobility rate for our children in schools. if we can keep families where they are, if they choose to be there, and you create this better process, then it's better for the neighborhood. And then the city can turn around and give that landlord a tax credit. And to me, it benefits the city because whoever the resident who is living there is not bouncing around, it is not an eviction court, it is not homeless. The landlord themselves, they're not worried about having to recoup any vacancy fees and things of that nature. It's just all around a win opportunity for the owner of the property and for the renter of the property. The other thing I want to do is figure out how we can incentivize people who own homes to stay within our city limits. And so to me, with work from home programs and all that thing going on right now, Nathan, as you know, you don't have to live in the city, even, to work. You could live anywhere. You could live in California and work for a company here in Cincinnati. You could live in Costa Rica. And so we got to figure out how we can incentivize families to actually live here, or the families that do, how to incentivize them to stay. I know several people, who have moved out to the outer suburbs, and we got to figure out how to keep them here. And so what if we had a credit of some sort or an incentive for people who stayed in the city for 10 years? If they're an actual homeowner and they hit that 10-year mark, then you give them a credit of $500 or whatever the number may be. Maybe it's $1,000. But those are two of the initiatives that I want to bring when I get on city council.
Appreciate that. Speaking with Galen G. Gordon, he's a candidate for Cincinnati City Council. You said 10 years, and I'm walking backwards just a little bit. I want to ask you about tax abatements. I think this question came up to you in the NAACP forum about the lawsuits. And essentially saying that there's a lawsuit against the city saying that the way that the tax abatements have been doled out is basically systematically racist, and it harms the wealth building ability of Black Cincinnati residents. And one of the remedies that's suggested in the lawsuit is that Black folks, homeowners, for the next 10 years get a 100% tax abatement. How do you feel about, well, number one, do you think that the way the tax abatements have been doled out is systematically racist? And number two, what do you think about the suggestion for a remedy?
So I don't know that it's systematically racist because anybody who has a home can get a tax abatement in the city based off of hitting the criteria for the amount of the improvement. But certainly we have to figure out how we're going to invest in the neighborhoods that need it the most. And so we don't need the abatements, I don't think, in certain neighborhoods like Over the Rhines or Hyde Parks. These are neighborhoods that are already doing well. And so at one time, maybe, that was necessary. But we need to figure out, because if it's blanket all across the board, there's no incentive for people to go to a neighborhood like a Fairmount or to Bond Hill and create opportunity there. And so to me, we need to move it so that the abatements are the neighborhoods that need it the most.
Yeah, that's the crux of the lawsuit. They're saying that historically the abatements have been given in 8 predominantly white neighborhoods at the expense of the others. And so they're seeking a ban on future abatements in Hyde Park, Oakley, Mount Lookout, Columbia, Tusculum, East End, downtown, Linwood, Saylor Park. And again, as I just reiterated, as a remedy, they want to grant 100% tax abatements for 10 years for all existing African-American homeowners and those who purchase homes in the city for the next 10 years.
So for me, Nathan, if they said in specific neighborhoods, like the neighborhoods that need it, then I would be for that. But if an African American is just going to go to Hyde Park and get an abatement, then you're not helping. So if we're going to do it in the neighborhoods that need it the most, then I'm all for it. If we're going to do it in Bond Hill, we have to identify what those neighborhoods are. But just some of us generally just thinking, you do it in Bond Hill, you do it at Avondale, you do it in a Fairmount and a Cumminsville, neighborhoods like that, then I'm all for it.
Let me see. Let's move on here. I got some. This is the chop shop, Galen. You already know where you are, man. So
yes, sir.
The knives are out. But I'm sure you got thick skin. You've been on the campaign trail.
It's all good. Yes, sir.
Campaign trail. So what? I'm sure. Again, I don't want to make any assumptions, but I would imagine that when you run for city council, you present a set of values or specific policies or sort of general things that you want to address. But I would imagine that while you're on the campaign trail, you're hearing from the voters, and then they impact, all of that. So when as you've been on the campaign trail and you're speaking with citizens, and for this audience, specifically Black citizens who are going to be voting, what are they saying to you are the biggest issues or things that need to be addressed from their standpoint?
Communication I'm having, Nathan, is really about investment in their neighborhoods. People are, not happy about what is perceived to be the investments only happening downtown. And that's why I believe that if we put investment in our neighborhood business districts, that we can restore our neighborhoods. And if we help the people who live in those neighborhoods to be able to open up those businesses, to be able to, again, cooperative economics, invest and buy our blocks back, that's how we can succeed. And that's how we can protect our African-American neighborhoods and we can move forward. But that's, to me, is the biggest thing and concerns about people is talking about is the lack of investments in the neighborhoods where we live.
Well, have you ever done any programming before, like designing programs with a specific outcome?
I've not done any programming, but help me with that.
Well, I'm leading somewhere. So, I've created programs in youth development that I was hoping to get specific outcomes with, right? And so I would imagine on some levels that when you're building policy, you're building a policy with a specific outcome, like you're trying to get somewhere. And where I'm going with this is that back in 2015, the Urban League put out a study that said essentially there's two Cincinnatis. It was basically about disparities, and what they found is that black and white, black folks and white folks are living two different lives basically, and that Black Cincinnatians are on the wrong side of all of these disparities. So that was back in 2015. This year, I got the opportunity to speak with the folks over at the Women's Fund. They did a new analysis, and what they found is that Black women, regardless of their education, were on the wrong side of the pay disparity. That Black women make up the highest concentration of folks that are struggling to make at least $15 an hour. So my question for you is, you want to be a policymaker. Do you think it's possible to create policy to address these disparities that are hitting the Black community specifically without creating policy specifically to deal with those disparities? And if so, what is your plan or your ideas to deal with the specific nature of the issues that Black Cincinnatians find themselves in?
So certainly, the city is already pushing forward to try to get, livable wages, for the employees and encouraging our organizations and other companies. So whatever we can do to push forward there, and we got to get investment in our African-American neighborhoods. As we can bring businesses there, create opportunity for the people who are going to work these jobs, whether they're African-Americans or women. I'm all for it. Push forward. I sat in with the Women's Fund, and I was astonished by the numbers that we saw, and especially, but it makes sense, that women, African-American women, have to basically get to a doctorate's degree before they're able to make a similar amount of money as men. And so that's definitely something pretty sad. Locally, whatever I can do from a council perspective to make sure that African Americans and Black women certainly have the opportunity that we need, and that we have true equity. Whatever we can do from a city council perspective, I'm all for that.
Okay. Any ideas that you have that you want to bring to the council to kind of address that? And again, I ain't trying to put all this on your shoulder, brother.
My focus, my focus, Nathan, is what I truly believe in is the investment in our neighborhoods from a business perspective. That's really where my huge focus is. I am a proponent and an ally of whatever we can do to move our people forward. And I believe that the way we can do that really is to establish, like you said before, the predominantly African-American neighborhoods that we have, protect them, but also put ourselves in a position where we have ownership, so we have more control over the rates that people are getting paid, because we're owning the businesses, that we have more control over the decisions that are being made that impact our neighborhoods the most. We gotta have ownership, and that's what I'm going to do to help Cincinnati and help the African Americans in our city.
So just a few months ago, the city went through the budget process, and then we got the CARES money as well, and it was all over the local newspaper. The newspapers, local news organizations reported on it, and the mayor put out his list of priorities, and then council voted on it. Was there anything in that process, anything that that the county voted for, or the city voted for, or didn't vote for, that you either agreed with or didn't agree with as you looked at that process?
I didn't see
That's a big
anything.
job for city council.
Yeah, it wasn't anything real glaring for me either way. They did a good job, I think, of trying to secure the funds and rainy day and protecting ourselves. A lot of worry here about the work from home, but no, I didn't. There wasn't anything that stuck out to me either way, Nathan.
And we're almost finishing here, but I want to ask you about good trouble. You know what I'm saying? Me personally, I need some folks. I'm looking for folks that's willing to get in good trouble for our community, the larger community and the Black community. Can you give us an example of when you got into good trouble, maybe in your professional life, for the benefit of the community? And are you willing to get in good trouble if you're elected to city council?
Absolutely. I was just down at City Hall when the Citizens Complaint Authority, when the issues were going and they weren't going to fund it. And so I'm down speaking with the council members at the meeting, trying to make sure that they understand how important it is that we fully fund the Citizens Complaint Authority. And so whatever we have to do, whoever I have to talk to, however long I have to stand, I thought it was very, very important that we make that known, how important it is to our community and to the city as a whole. And so, wherever I can, we're actually working on some other issues here in the West End neighborhood where we're going to be getting into some more good trouble. That's still to come. But whatever we can do to push for the protection of our African American neighborhoods, I'm all for it.
All right, and last set of questions. I want to talk about crime and police, because it seems like that we had a big conversation. Really, it was a national conversation, but we had here locally about defunding the police. And I think there was a lot of misinformation out there. Some people were fear mongering to make it seem as if people were trying to disband the police.
Yeah.
And I want to get your thoughts about it. Like, when you hear the term defund the police, what do you hear?
I think, I get it. So I understand it, but I also thought it was too easy of a term to be used against us. And so what I believe, like I think most people, is that we have to police differently. And so resources that are allocated may have to be used differently. There's no doubt that the way that police, the issues that have happened across our country and issues that happen in Cincinnati, that there needs to be reform. Certainly, though, when I call the police, I want them to show up. So terminology wasn't good, Nathan, but I understand it. And so it's easy to try to get points off of that, trying to be, using this term the way that they used it. But I understand what people were trying to say.
And if you're elected to city council, I mean, you'll be making decisions about the priorities for the budget, where the money goes. And in my opinion, that says a lot about the overall value system of any elected body. You can talk all you want to, but where you spend that money is really what your priority is. Mm-hmm. Do you think, this is a very complicated question, because I want to ask you about two things. One, what do you think the role of a city council is in terms of dealing with the current issues of gun violence? Even though numbers are down right now, there's a spike in teenagers getting guns. Just this week, there was a 16-year-old that was killed outside Walnut Hills High School, your alma mater. My daughter attends there right now. So what do you think the role of city council is right now? And what would your role, what will your role be if elected to city council? What would be your approach to dealing with our issues of homicides and gun violence?
So we got to get our young people involved. I think that we talk at young people. We need to actually talk with them, talk to them, see what it is. The young people are going to tell us what it is that they need. I have adopted a youth platform from an organization called Youth at the Center. And a couple of things they've asked for is more of a relationship or a partnership or collaboration between youth and the police. They've also asked for rec centers to be open. A lot of our rec centers are closed. Rec centers that we have don't have materials and resources that teenagers are attracted to now. That things that were cool when I was a teenager, a basketball hoop or a swimming pool. But kids today, they want to play games and they want to do like maker space. They want to create things. So we got to figure out how to make sure that we have rec centers open. Any of that are closed, that's where the funding needs to go. In my estimation, any organizations, youth organizations that we can trust to do well with the funds is where we got to put those resources. Obviously, we got to figure out where the guns are coming from, but we got to get with our young people. And if we know, like in the West End, we got like 2 spots where a lot of the gun activity happens, and so we need to put resources there, whether it's the police, whether it's youth advocates, whatever it is that's best. Like we know where the violence is happening, and so I imagine it's the same thing in other neighborhoods as well. And so we got to invest resources in those areas as well, specifically, whether it's more lights or whether it's some kind of streetscape, whatever it is, that's where we need to put that investment.
And how do you feel about, do you believe there's a connection between the number of Cincinnati police officers that we have and crime? And what I've observed is there's a real conversation about keeping the current levels of Cincinnati police, and this gets really political. But I want to get your thoughts about that in general. Like, what's your approach to that? I mean, some people say they want to keep it at 1,000 or 1,100. Do you think that makes a difference in terms of the crime, dealing with the crime that we see happening in the city of Cincinnati?
I have actually thought about this, and we got to get more detailed information. It's my understanding, though, for a city our size, that the city has a standard of, I think, 1,040 police, and we're below that. But at the job I'm working now, Nathan, we're below our staff levels, but we still have to produce. So I'm not against there being more police officers. I'm not against that at all. I think the key issue really is how we do it. And so in some estimations, maybe the police will say that there's certain things that we can't do because we don't have enough officers. And so if that's the case, then maybe we need to get some more. I know it seems like our recruitment, the recruits that we're bringing in are only enough to handle the officers who are retiring. And so that creates a problem because you're never adding. I think for some community members, people may be upset with the number of police, but I think we need more police on foot patrol. I think that would be beneficial for our neighborhoods and our communities on foot patrol, but actually communicating with us, building trust with us, not just driving by, not being afraid to talk to us, but get out of the car, foot patrol, get to know the people who live there, say hello, that kind of thing, play with the kids, and create some trust in our neighborhoods. And that may mean we need more.
Okay. Well, Galen, I appreciate you. I mean, it's more questions coming in. Somebody wants to know, can you hit the ground running on day one? Do you have a history of getting things done?
So I've been involved in our community council since I've been in the West End in 2014. I work in hospitality now, Nathan. Service is what I do. I'm a Rotarian. I always put service above self. So yes, sir, I can hit the ground running. I've managed over 40 staff members on a daily basis, worked with a departmental budget. And so I understand that part of the process. So I'm ready. And I appreciate the opportunity to be with you and to be here in the Chop Shop. I thank everyone who was here this morning. And certainly my website is galenforcincinnati.com. You can get a hold of me there. I'm happy to give you my email, galen.gordon@galenforcincinnati.com. If anybody wants to have any more discussion, or I think somebody asked about a yard sign and things of that nature. I'm working for you, Cincinnati. I chose to live in the city when a lot of people, unfortunately, talk about not being, I can't wait to get out of here. No, I think we can be successful here. We are 42, 43% of the population in this city. And so I believe as African Americans, we can truly have a great impact. And I truly believe that comes from investing in our neighborhoods and investing in our neighborhood business districts and giving people opportunity and doing it with the people who live in that neighborhood.
All right, Galen.
I thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time, Galen.
All right.
Yep. Take it easy, brother. That's Galen G. Gordon, everybody. And what did you think? What did you think? I didn't have a whole lot of time. I mean, I could speak to council candidates for 2 hours, literally. I could speak to any one of them for 2 hours and just drill deeper and deeper on any one of those questions. Really, I mean, I literally have 5 to 6 follow-up questions for all of those major issues. But with limited time, what I would say is factor in. We smart, intelligent people in this room. Very smart, intelligent people. And you can read between the lines. You can read people. Somebody said he was dancing. That's your opinion. You can read people and what they're saying very well, better than me in some cases, right? So I would say take this interview and then watch all the forums. There was just a big West Side forum. Watch those forums. Watch every forum you can get to. Any interview they do, watch it, because what you want to see is, do people change up? When they're talking to us, do they change up? With their NAACP, do they change up? Do people change up? You know what I'm saying? And if they're asked the same question in front of different audiences, do they change? Do they have the same response? You know what I'm saying? Check it out for yourself. And I'll say this again. For me, there's 3 tiers. There's a top tier of about 6 or 7 people who I think would be dynamite on city council. Can't go wrong, in my opinion. The majority of this 34, 35 people that's running for city council in the middle tier, where good, intelligent. I think everybody's good, intelligent, good-hearted people, but varying degrees of readiness, varying degrees of knowledge about the issues. And then you got that bottom tier where I don't even know why you're running. And you have to decide where those folks are. And people keep asking me, you ask me a specific question, I'll ask it. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you like that? Oh, yeah. It's just. Again, if people like the way this look, I use something called Restream. You can use it too for your streams. If you're interested, hit me with direct message. I'll send you a link. They'll give you a discount. They'll kick me back a little something. Boom, everybody's happy. So, this stuff is very, very easy these days. And I'm going to be doing. I won't put it that way. I'll tell you when I do it. But yeah, if you like the way this looks, man, just let me know. I'll hook you up. I'll send you a link. They'll give you about $10 off. And they'll give me a little something too, and boom, everybody's happy if you like the way this looks, Glenn. Absolutely, man. I keep telling you, to my Chopper family, I'm an open book. I've been doing podcasting, live stream. You got any questions, all you got to do is direct message me. I'll try to answer as much as I can, and I'm not going to charge you. I do it just for the love, you know what I'm saying? Because I want you to look good. I want whatever you're doing to look great. You got questions about equipment or anything, just hit me up. And people already know. Many people have already done so. I'm an open book for now. We're going to put it behind a paywall real soon, so take advantage of it. Let me go back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Nathan. This
Hello.
is Mace.
Hey, Mace.
I have one for Drop. He want to talk about an infrastructure bill. I want to talk about a possible spending bill to break down that 70% of the people want. And he's probably would benefit it too. Climate change, this bill better, fight better. The climate change, that $700 billion, they can take that off because these people going to space and they're causing all of this pollution. But when you listen to this pollution stuff, it might be some bad pollution out there, but what is that doing for the climate? And then you got the child tax care credit, that's $400 billion. You got the medical and dental vision part, that's $370 billion. You got housing for the homeless, that's $300 billion, and paid family leave, that's $300 billion. And then you go on to long-term health care, which Drop probably needs since he said he retired. And you got universal pre-K, $250 billion. Then you got child care. You could take $250 billion away. And they're spending health care. Drop probably gonna need that too. And then the Medicare and Medicaid for the red states, which you got these red states with these Republicans and they didn't want affordable health care, and they want to put $200 billion into that. and then free community college. So I would like for Drop to tell me 70% of the people want that, but the party that he's loving and hanging around and sucking up don't even want none of it. So I don't care about this other stuff that he's talking about, everyday life. So tell him to get with that one. From the Washington Post, that rag. Don't come tell me about something some man done went and came up with a group, because 70% of the people want it, Republicans and Democrats. And ask him what's the hold up, and what part will he get out of it. And if they take some of it away, he'll be screaming and hollering saying, oh, they made it a smaller bill, because some of it don't need to be on there anyway. So with that, drop, get some more knowledge and use it. Have a good one.
Have a good one, Maze. I might be spelling, I think it's M-A-Z-E. I'm all M-A-I-S-E, getting all phonetic with it. Angela, good to see you, sis. She writes, we have a mighty big decision in picking the next mayor and council. Then we'll be hiring our next police chief in early 22. Absolutely right. Big decisions. Big decisions. Big decisions. I mean, we're talking about the next 10, 15 years of local governance, right? What's the temperature? What's the moves? What the priority is? All those kind of things. So, hey, listen, folks, I'm going to leave it like that. I hope you enjoyed the show. Oh, absolutely. You already know, man. Glenn, we already connected, man. You already know. Shit, I'm a phone call away, man. But, God left me here back about a year and a half ago for a reason. And part of it is to spread the gospel of flow. But the other is to be an open book for, the next creative class. There's so many great creatives in Cincinnati that I'm blessed to work with. So just keep watching what we're doing here at CDM. I'll say it again. My mission is simple. Amplify Black and brown voices, women's voices in the greater Cincinnati area. Why? Because we need to. Simple as that. Simple as that. Absolutely. And I'm going to stay on that plan until we get there and even after we get there. And your help is necessary. So thank you to my patrons. I shouted everybody out by name this week. I'm going to do that every week per my arrangement. If you're a patron, make sure you check that feed because I'm dropping videos every other day. I'll be dropping a video today as well, talking about today's show and also give you some backstory on some things that we're planning and things I'm working on and how you can be involved. All right. So patreon.com/Nathan Ivy Show. Patreon, patreon.com/Nathan Ivy Show. If you want to become a patron. Patreon is a system where creative folks like myself can raise funds by people that support what they're creating. And the Nathan Ivy Show has already had an impact. It's well documented. And we're just getting started. We're just a baby out here, man. We just got started. Some of these other shows have been around for 20, 30 years. We just got started in the last few years. So be a part of something different. Have an excellent rest of your day, family. Have an excellent weekend. It's a beautiful Friday. Many of you are breadwinners. You're working hard. Listen, take some time to unplug from the matrix and take care of yourself. You cannot pour from an empty cup. So pour into you first, all right? Enjoy yourself. And remember our motto. Let's say it together. Winners focus on winning. Losers focus on winners. So stay focused and stay winning, and we'll talk real soon. Until next time, I'm out.
Good morning, Choppers. I'm Scotty Johnson, candidate for Cincinnati City Council. Unfortunately, injustice remains in the city of Cincinnati. A remedy for injustice is courageous, bold leadership. I plan on bringing that type of leadership to City Hall. It's time to stop talking about it and to start doing something about it. Disparities have been in Cincinnati far too long. I'm the candidate to address those disparities. Vote Scotty Johnson for Cincinnati City Council.
Paid for by friends of Scotty Johnson.
Yeah, talking to my mirror like I love you so much. Curving on my critics like I heard you, so what? You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. Tally all the I ever gave on my head. Lately I've been living like I can't take a loss. They ain't wanna help me, that's what made me a boss.
getting like flu season. I broke records while loose leafing. I'm coming down my roof, leaving. Don't give a fuck, I don't care. Did the for my lonesome. No wonder now I'm on one. No shortcuts on that long run. All I really want is my share. Get on my God, I told him it's nothing. In the discussion, for them feelings I throw on my pain on percussion. It's disgusting. I hear them bragging about that they did, and it do not move me, not in the least. They ain't been dropping no seeds in the soil, but swear that you almost spotted the feast. I've been on go mode, showboat, rowboat, wave ride. Cool shorty, too naughty, pool party, wet for the face ride. Annie up, penny down, hand me down, thrift store, old drip. New money, too funny, old shorty talking about old. I'm on they now, can't get a pass now. I'm a cash cow, keeping it brash now. It's trash now.